everybody, and a good afternoon once again here on ESN. We're getting ready now. We're just about getting ready here to start our race in the AWSCO Windows Cup Series here. In the late 1950s, an idea for a speedway oval was conceived in the Atlanta metro area. It was originally envisioned to rival the likes of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but financial and construction difficulties meant that the track itself took quite a few years before it really gained traction. But when it did, it became one of the mainstays on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. We are, of course, here talking about the Atlanta Motor Speedway, which started life as a 1.5-mile pill-shaped oval before being converted into a quad oval cookie cutter speedway in 1997, and once again in 2021 converted into a high banked super speedway style hybrid oval. Kind of towing the line between the likes of a Charlotte Motor Speedway and your Daytonas and Talladegas of the world. As we're here for round 38 of 40 of the inaugural AWSCO Windows Cup Series, the second and middle race in the penultimate round of the postseason, the Intuit QuickBooks 500 here in Hampton, Georgia. Hi everyone, I'm Rajab. Once again, back in the studio for back in the FanDuel fan studio for the pre-race show. I'm joined here with Ellie to cover the stories coming into this race, and certainly lots to talk about given we've already had a race here at Atlanta yesterday. Of course, the Continental Series had their race here, the 300 miler. And it was certainly eventful. Lots of action, and a lot of cars going the wrong way, I think, in that race. But we'll see how that the happenings in the Continental Series will affect the way these Cup drivers run. In a lot of ways, a lot of the things we discovered about this racetrack, at least early on, earlier on in the weekend, came on as a result of the practice session we had in the Cup Series. A lot of cars in the Cup Series, of course, has a pretty long, hour-long, I think, practice session. And of course, that kind of means that these teams had a little bit more time to kind of explore the way this racetrack kind of how it works for these drivers. And we'll see how that affects the racing here today. But of course, compared to the Continental race, it'll be 200 miles longer, and we hope that the action will kind of more evenly distributed along, at least better distributed along the course of the race. Hopefully, here we're expecting the race to be a little bit calmer in the first half of the race. Only just for things to pick up, of course, in the latter half of the race, as we always see with these pack racing style racetracks. Not quite a super speedway. We'll delve into the details of the package we're running here once again. But it won't quite be a full-on restrictor plate super speedway race, the likes we've seen at Daytona, Talladega, and Pensacola this year. Ellie, what do you think about the racing we're expecting to see here? And do you think we'll get that kind of long-run racing that we were kind of looking for in the Continental race, and we didn't get that until the very end of that race?
Yeah, I expect longer green runs here. I expect them to kind of learn from what the Continental drivers did yesterday and correct themselves from that. And there was plenty of stories to look at during the Continental race here at Atlanta, and a lot of it was you can go 4 wide, but you have to be very careful, and you have to do it at the right times. There was so many positions where drivers were pushing for 4 wide, and they would take almost everybody out doing so. So I expect these drivers to play it a little bit more safe, at least within the first half, and I think this could be a pretty consequential race in terms of who is going to be moved back or forward, and up and down within the points in the playoffs. Because that's what we saw in the Continental race. I mean, we saw drivers who we expected to do really good end up getting caught in the middle of a crash and doing really horribly, and it was pretty catastrophic for them. So I'm expecting a competitive, important race. I do expect them to cool it down a bit, at least within the first half.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be, and that's gonna, and I think that's gonna be a good segue to looking at the layout of this track. Of course, it's recently reconfigured only not too long ago in the off season in 2021. This track now, of course, has 28 degrees of banking in the turns, which kind of lends itself to that kind of pack racing. It's extremely high bank for a cookie cutter oval, but of course with the track itself, the geometry of the track itself, how wide it is, being built like a speedway oval, that's kind of the restriction that we've kind of seen. And we saw the Continental Series drivers kind of push the limits a little bit too far a lot of times. It really is that quad oval section where the track kind of widens out, but then narrows out further, and that's kind of what causes the issue. There is a bit of a space where you can go 4 wide. It's on the back, primarily on the backstretch. We've seen cars go 4 wide both in practice in the Cup Series and in the race in the Continental race without having any issues. But on the quad oval, that's always a kind of a bit of a danger point, and every speedway oval with a quad oval, we've seen that kind of problem. These kinds of crashes happen at, say, Texas Motor Speedway in the quad ovals, kind of in the middle there. Sometimes it gets a bit antsy there, as well as in Charlotte Motor Speedway on the exit of 4. That tends to happen as well when the track narrows down. You get from 3 to like 2.5 lanes. And we've kind of seen that happen again here at Atlanta, where it really happens kind of in the middle, right on the start-finish line, with not quite where I expect it to happen, because usually at a glance you would expect it to happen in turn 1, because the quad oval is rather wide in terms of pavement, but I guess not all of it's usable. Some of that is kind of painted. Some of that quad oval space is kind of painted over, and that might be, these drivers, I think, kind of avoided using the paint the painted portion a little bit, which kind of means that, in a way, the quad oval kind of goes from being a 4 to a 3 to a 4 back to a 3 wide, back to 3 wide in terms of usable space, and that's kind of the issue we're seeing, is that when we're in that kind of middle of the quad oval, right at the start finish line, it narrows back in. The racing lanes narrow back in, and we're seeing cars run into each other. We saw cars run into each other pretty often in the Continental race, and that's what caused a lot of the stop-start racing in the Continental race. But we'll see if the Cup drivers kind of have a little bit of can learn from the experience a little bit. Of course, some of these teams do run in both series, so I think I'll probably get some notes taken from the Continental race, just kind of seeing where the 3 and 4 wide can work in different places. But I think that's kind of the nature of the racing we're seeing here at Atlanta.
Yeah, even though teams that don't run in the Continental, I expect their teams definitely have watched that race and, could easily have taken some notes from that race. And it really was that backstretch, which was the only area where you could really see them go 4 wide and not crash into each other and cause a huge wreck. I mean, we saw those over and over and over every time they did it somewhere that wasn't the backstretch. So when the aggression kicks up, closer we get to the end of the race, I expect them to really try and push for 4 wide on that backstretch. We saw a lot of good moves out of it. When you did go 4 wide, if you were pushing for it, you would benefit at most of the time. So I do expect it to come into play towards the end. I don't see them doing it early on, unless your team just really didn't pay attention to the Continental race. But yeah, I could easily see some teams cooling it down with the 4 wide for a bit here.
And speaking of the racing and looking at we'll take a look at the package that they're running here. Of course, kind of a hybrid package between the speedway between the speedway package that we run at most 1.5 mile ovals and the super speedway package that we see at Daytona, of course. We are using a restrictor plate, but it restricts less air here, so we got wider holes in these restrictor plates, which means these engines are going to have more power. Kind of again in between of the kind of power we'll see at Daytona and on the regular super speedways, which means that we're going to get kind of that pack racing, especially at the beginning. If you get a bunch of short runs, it'll be pack racing most of the way, but as the run goes on, you'll see the pack, I think, widen out and kind of get the maybe Charlotte or Las Vegas or Kansas style speedway racing, just with a little bit more drag, since we're still using the high drag package that is more associated, I think, with the super speedway races. So if we do get those long green flag runs, we will be seeing a pretty unique kind of race here. Not the kind of race this kind of racing, not one that will be that we usually see in the AWSCO, in any of the AWSCO series, really. So this racetrack kind of is a bit of a unicorn in this in that regard. Now looking at the starting lineup now. Of course, lots to look at here when it comes to our playoff drivers. We do have one on pole, the 93 of Arinia Tosama, who finished at fairly lowly 39th place, was taken out of the race early on in our previous race at Laguna Seca. Find yourself 16 points down heading into Atlanta, but that deficit has already been reduced by 1 as she took pole position, and the 1 bonus point you get for doing so. But lots of playoff drivers starting near the front, I would say. Tosama is joined by Mika Haurina in the 34, your winner all the way back at Motegi in our race in Japan. Row 2 is Perry Alacantes and Marisha Vebels. Alacantes, of course, another playoff driver who's finished 23rd at Laguna Seca after leading early on in that race. Finds herself right on the cut line. Has won at a big oval at Denver already this season, but that was a big flat oval, kind of the opposite of this, how this track is built. Row 3, you have Mimi Marino in the 3 and Andrea Davison in the 22. Davison has run extremely consistently over the last couple of months now. Her 27th place finish at Laguna Seca was her worst since a 30th place finish all the way back since in Rio de Janeiro, which was months ago back in our international tour. So 22 has been consistent all year, consistent in this second half of the season. We'll see if she can keep that up, starting 6th on the outside of row 3. Row 4, another red racing car, the 21 of Amani Huandayo and the 91 of Alicia Byrne. Alicia Byrne still chasing her first win of the season. She's had the speed to contend, but hasn't really found the combination of luck and speed to make things happen. But she did. But she has finished in the top 10 twice in the postseason so far, at Kansas and at Oregon, two big speedway style ovals. Row 5, running at the top 10, Rachel Cole and Fabrizio Tolaron, 2 drivers here. Who are looking to end their season with good runs. Tolaron, of course, hasn't really had much to speak of hasn't really had very good results all season, but has had a fairly decent upturn in form in the last four races, with 4 top 15 finishes, 3 top 15 finishes in our last 4 races, including 10th at Oregon. Looking at the rest of the field and our playoff drivers, Unia Waterton, who's now last by herself in the playoffs, starts in the outside of row 7, that's 14th place. Ava Yarsaraj starts on the inside of row 9, that's 17th place. In 19th place, right behind her, the 23 of Yapi Malakson. And then you have to go all the way back to Hollis Jukovic in the outside of row 15. That's all the way back in 30th place. Jukovic finished in the top 5 at Laguna Seca. Best running of the playoff drivers by a country mile. Finds herself 20 points above the cut line here at the start of the race. Jocelyn Nihale, her teammate, starts 1 row behind in 32nd. Then Bria Delade starts behind Nihale. And our final playoff driver, Abby Little, starts on the inside of row 18, 1 position behind Bria Delade in 35th place. Looking at the rest of the starting lineup here, what do you think of the? Does anybody kind of catch your eye here looking at our starting lineup here?
Yeah, Arena Tosima does. She had a not great race at Laguna Seca, and I think she wants to come back from that. She's needed to honestly have a good race for a while, and I think this is going to be one of the tracks where she can do it if she avoids getting any damage and avoids, getting involved in any major crashes. She usually always has the pace at these kind of tracks, and I feel like she's going to be a top contender. The rest of the field, I wouldn't count them out, no matter what their position is, because when we saw yesterday in the Continental race, no matter where you started, you still had a chance to work your way all the way up to the top, because, this is a decently draft-heavy track the way this is configured, so you can kind of work your way from the way back, and we saw plenty of drivers do that. I think Yappy Malkson is another one to watch for. I think she could do pretty good here, and I think obviously Davison, she's been phenomenal. She's going to be a top contender for sure.
Yeah, you can never, at this kind of track, you can't count out anybody really. We saw plenty of positions changing, especially in the beginning of the race, when we had pretty much the entire field still in it. So expect a lot of positions changing here as the race starts, and of course, a couple of these drivers already have had some success on a draft heavy track. Salas Jukovic won the Daytona 500 all the way back in race 1, our first race of the season at Talent, and of course, can't forget our Pensacola and Talladega winners. Pensacola won by Yenfi Yanaga, and Talladega won by Degabi Abriella in the 20 car. Let's see where those drivers are starting here. Abriella starts 12th on the outside of row 6. That's just ahead of Waterton, and Yanaga starting actually right alongside her. So row 6, both of our other super speedway winners, and of course Tosima, I believe, won the All-Star race, which was held at another super speedway at iRacing Super Speedway in Massachusetts. So when it comes to that kind of racing, Tosima does have some success, albeit not in the points races themselves, but still, at the very least, typically she has shown pace at these racetracks. We'll see what she can do from the pole position here, as we'll wrap up our pre-race show here. We'll be sending you over to the booth now. Echo and Renault will be calling the race here for the Intuit QuickBooks 500. Lots of racing coming up, so hope you enjoy the show, and we'll see you guys in the mid-race report later on.
And welcome to the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Drivers, to your car.
For the Intuit QuickBooks 500, 325 laps here tonight for this race from the 1.5 miles Super Speedway. I'm joined here tonight by Rena. The Continental race yesterday, a lot of incidents, 9 caution flags, 37 caution laps, but they set a blistering record for lead changes, 89 lead changes in the Continental Series race. Do you think we're going to see something very similar to that here today? Or do you think they might try and back it down a little bit today just to be a little bit more on the safe end?
Yeah, if I know Atlanta, I know that we're probably going to see a lot of aggression towards the front. It's kind of how just the layout of the track inspires that kind of, and rewards that kind of racing. I think you might be surprised at the level of aggression maybe you see from some of the contenders, especially who are going to be trying to give themselves a good margin over the cut line going into the next couple races. I think a driver that I would look out for, especially in that regard, would be Alicantes, who's starting in 3rd. I have a feeling that the 18 is going to have a really big day today, but that could age very quickly as this track is at times very, very unpredictable.
Yeah, and we do have a big playoff race going on in this one as well. Perry Alacantes, of course, or excuse me. Let me actually recheck the points properly. But going into this race, you had Halis Jukovic leading the points, 20 up, Malikson up by 11, Delad and Nihil 7 up, and Alacantes only had 2 points over the 6th place car of Abby Little. Again, a lot of these things can change, especially during the race. So I will be keeping those live points up for you, but we probably will not be able to update them during the race just because positions change so quickly during the race here. So it'll be a little bit difficult to actually pull that kind of thing off. With that being said, let's go through our starting grid. Row 1, Irenia Tosima is on the pole, starting on the front row. Alongside her is Mika Harina, who not in the playoffs anymore, but she's still got some trophies to race for. She wants to get this thing done. Row 2, the 18, Perry Alacantes, pole winner last week. At Laguna Seca, starting 3rd this week. She's alongside race winner from last week, Marisha Vebelst. Row 3 is Mimi Barino in the 3 car, alongside the 22 of Andrea Davison. Had that really long top 20 streak that finally got broken last week, but Davison starting up at the front once again. Row 4 is the 21 Amani Wandayo and the 91 of Alicia Byrne. Row 5 is the 52 Rachel Cole and the 15 Tabrizi Tolerone. Row 6, the 46 Yenfi Yanago, winner back at Pensacola, alongside the 20 of Gabriella, winner at Talladega. So 2 plate track winners already right there, right next to each other. Row 7, the 42 of Mila Chestina in the alongside the 13 Yania Waterton, trying to make up some ground in the points race. Row 8, the 1 of Alicia Vancy and the 31 of Taylor Happeman. Row 9 is the 98 Ava Ajarsaraj, she actually finished 28th last week at Laguna Seca, so it has some ground to make up alongside the 6 of Jamie McJasmina. Row 10, the 23 Yappy Malikson is alongside the 92 of Mikaliatica. Row 11, the 16 Sky Angetta and the 2 of Isa Ijavida. Row 12 is the 60 of Amory Wesco and the 39 Lily Talberson. Row 13, the 8 of Lowry Schliesenbach and the 72 of Janet Parkings. Row 14, the 9 of Carly Byrne and the 10 of Audie Stoneman. Row 15 is the 17 Pace Linearia and the 62 Halis Jukovic, winner of the Daytona 500. Row 17, the 38, Row 16, the 38 of Youngwei Koo and the 64 of Jocelyn Nihil. Row 17, the 19 Arlen Handstrom and the 55 Bria Delad. Row 18, the 71 Abby Little and the 96 of Angela Rigatino. Row 19, the 27 Nietzsche Garnston and the 82 Katrin Edelstein. And row 20, the 32 of Sinley Rareston and the 26 of Sophie Chantazay. So we've got 325 laps, 500 miles, very long race from this kind of track. Do you think we're gonna have to do you think that these drivers are gonna be patient, or are they gonna be going right? Are they gonna be going for spots right out of the gate, getting real aggressive?
I think that in a race like this, knowing that attrition is going to be a big part of it, you want to be as close to the front as you possibly could be. The less you can leave up to chance, the better. If I'm anyone in the top 10 right now, I want to be at the front.
Drivers, to your cars.
So the cars are about to get rolling here just shortly. This is a long race, so they're going to need to be patient, but whether they will be patient is another question in and of itself. Clouds have rolled in over the racetrack today. We had sunny skies yesterday for the Continental race, so the track was a lot slicker, but they're going to have a lot more grip in this race today here. Tosima and Haurina will lead them to the green as the pace car pulls off. And these cars looking for much ground to be made up in the playoff race. Green flag is out, and we're racing at Atlanta.
Yeah, the bottom didn't seem to jump off very well. You can see the gap between first and third there. That was Alicante's.
Yeah, but that bottom lane does have a little more grip. We saw it yesterday. The bottom lane can just gain those runs, and even after, especially on fresh tires, the bottom lane is just a little bit stronger. But on those, as the tires wear out a little bit, the bottom lane stops being that, solid lane that looks like it's going to be the strongest lane. Alicante's credited for leading lap number 1. She will take that bonus point. I imagine we're probably going to see a lot of drivers lead laps today. We saw 29 different leaders in the Continental race. Only 9 drivers didn't lead a lap in that race. Lap 2, Amani Wandayo able to get the lead in the 21 car. Here in Atlanta, alongside the World Cup, lots of Latin American drivers in this series. And they're doing very well to begin the race here in Atlanta, too. Wandayo going to lead lap number 3. So here comes Chestina in the 42 car.
Fancy getting a nose in underneath, maybe.
Yep. Wandayo will lose that position. 42 car has it right now, but Vancy will probably hold the advantage on the bottom lane. And again, kind of as the run goes on, you're going to see them string out just a little bit. Not immediately, but as the run goes on, they'll start stringing out just a little bit until we get to those pit stops. Vancy leads lap number 4.
Here comes Malikson. Potentially.
She's got a run. She could have something here, unless the 60 goes for it, which it looks like AWSCO's going underneath. And again, what you want to be careful of, you don't want to be going 4 wide on this front straightaway. We saw it pretty much every time they tried it in the Continental race yesterday. It ended badly, every time. So you got to be very careful.
There's always going to be one driver who thinks that they can pull it off and make the big move.
Fortunately, it hasn't looked like we've seen many drivers even really testing 3 wide.
Here comes Byrne.
Carly Byrne finished second at Martinsville a couple weeks ago. Carly Byrne thought she had that race. She thought she had won it. But DeGabby Abriella in the 20 car came back from 2 laps down in that race to take it away. For a driver who's pretty widely suspected not to be returning to this team next season, Byrne really wants to get one. Andrea Davieson's going to cross the line. Davieson will lead a lap here. So the 22 car will gain a lap lead. So that gains her a point. We're starting to see as well, the drivers from the back of the field are coming up towards the front very quickly. There's Abby Little. She started way back in the field. She's already into the top 10. So the positions here shuffle around so much.
Yeah, you can kind of see the zipper effect is like you go up through the inside, get shuffled outside, and then fall back. And it's kind of the rhythm that this track can produce at times, especially at the early points of the race.
Yeah, with everybody starting out pretty much equal on fresh tires, before we get those pit stops, because that's when the big moments are going to happen is on pit road, getting down pit road and just finding a group to stay with. As Little is able to lead this lap, so the 71 now with a bonus point.
And Abby Little definitely looking for a good day today.
Yeah, not a great finish last week at Laguna Seca. She ran well, qualified well, ran well during the race, but had an engine problem during the middle of the race. She lost a cylinder and she ended up finishing a lap down. Now,
Gabriella and Taylor Happeman.
yep, Abriella, the winner at Talladega, leading the way now. And this is something that I think as well we'll see, is as it goes on, you'll kind of see if two cars get away, they'll kind of tend to more string together. They'll try to single file out together as opposed to running side by side. Although we saw Taylor Happeman make a move to the inside there when Abriella was still on the outside. So there is still some push to try to lead laps here. We also saw in the Continental race that the middle line could form up and stay formed up pretty decently at the front of the field. It kind of was immune from that zipper effect, as you talked about. If there's a middle lane that forms up, if they kind of form 3 lanes, that middle lane could be one that just doesn't really lose very much.
Yeah, these cars are moving around a lot up here at the front. I'm getting a little bit nervous. See Delod here.
Delod will stay at the front at the start-finish line at the very least. So move the 55 to having a lap led. And that's now 4 playoff drivers who have a lap led in these first 14 laps. Oh, Delod pushing it through the middle. She got a big run into the middle, and she may actually try and take the lead back from that. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Not going to have the push there. The one in the 32, you saw that aggressive side draft. Didn't work out for the 32. And it looks like Stoneman is going to take advantage, potentially.
Here comes Parkings. Looking to the inside, and Stoneman got hooked.
Around goes Stone. That's a big one.
Big collection.
Oh, and Renia Tosama's in there. Alicante.
I think Tosama managed to... I think Tosama might have got stopped before that. But there was a lot of cars, I think... Definitely a lot of cars involved, but... I think a lot of these cars were just kind of slowed down before actually getting involved. There were a few cars that did spin, though.
That puts the 92 up front. At least prior to any pit stops here.
So Michele Yatica is the leader coming down pit road. We'll get a look as to what happened here in a moment. So we'll get an eye as to who is out of the race and who is still here. Some of these cars, while they're going to be coming out in front of the leaders a lap down, they're going to get waved around as catching Edelstein. Having some trouble getting around. Vebelst and Happeman have retired. I don't see anybody else out of the race. So we're going to see as to who gets the lead here, and then I'll do the wave arounds. Yeah, it is registered as the 52, so the 27 will be waved around at the front. All right. Go back and check what happens, because Ani Stoneman... just kind of gets into the 32. Bria Delade got some damage. Vancy spun around. There's Abriella. I see a Jarsaraj.
Surprisingly, the 23 got out of that with no damage. Didn't even lift.
Rather impressive. There's a few cars that I think have involvement, but I'm not sure how much damage a lot of them have. There's going to be a few lappers in between the leaders that get waved around here as well, just because of how everything's cycled out.
So the interesting thing here, I think, is going to be whether that's going to affect the speed of the cars, because if there are enough damaged cars in this field, I think we see a separation of the packs really early.
I could definitely see that, and I think that would help a lot.
I think that would definitely cut down a little bit on the attrition, assuming we don't see any big ones as the packs merge over time.
Weirdly, that's kind of something we saw in the Continental race at Talladega a few weeks ago, where we had a crash on lap 1, and that gave us a bit of attrition, and it kind of led to not really a lot of incidents happening over the course of the race. Cole, Yatica, Parkings, Jukovic, McJasmina, Wendayo, Handstrom, Yanaga, Nihale, Rariston are the top 10. No wave rounds. There are a few cars that are lapped down. There's actually 30th to 38th right now scored a lap down, but none of them are within the reach of the top 10, so nobody will get waved around here. So an early yellow, like we saw in the Continental race, on about lap 14 for an incident pretty much the same way we saw it. It was LaTanya Gray yesterday. This time it was Janet Parkings sending it 4 wide. And Parkings got away pretty much scot-free. Green flag is out.
Green, green, green.
And Cole got a very big jump on Yatica there.
We'll see how long that lasts. The 62 there is someone to watch, I think, Jukovic.
You're starting to see there is a pretty decent split right now. There's some cars that are kind of slow. The 20 car looks fairly slow.
Yeah, the 9
Again,
and 15 pretty heavily involved as well.
There is a minimum speed time. It will be 31 seconds. If you can't meet a time under that, you will be parked. Here comes Yatica for the race lead. Here comes Jami McJasmine and Yenfi Yanaga. Yanaga who won at Pensacola.
And we are already 3 wide again at the front. Oh, God.
They'll be fine. It's one car in the middle lane, and they're kind of getting rid of her at the moment.
I think it's difficult because the temptation from these drivers to side draft so aggressively, it makes sense because it works so well, but it's so risky, especially this early.
on the apron. That was the 3 of Mimi Barino. I believe she just came down pit road. I think some of these cars are coming down pit road right now to get some damage repair. Ava Jarsaraj is one of them. Bria DeLotte is well off the pace. Irina Tosima is kind of mired back. I think she just got stuck behind a lot of those slow cars. And as a result, that's kind of dropped her back. Jocelyn Nihale getting through. She looks like she wants to get a lap lead, but so does Yappy Malikson in the 23. They're going to reach the lap car. They're going to have to slow down. The 20 looked like she had been holding up that back part of the field, which means that these leaders are going to catch up to her as she's exited pit road. That's going to slow them up a lot, and that actually is going to break up the pack even more.
Yeah, that's gonna cause a lot of problems for those ones that were stuck up in the top lane. That includes Abby Little,
Nihale,
Rachel Coley, and Fianaga as well. Lily Halverson.
Yappy Malikson to the lead. 23 car now out front. And it's about, how many cars are in this lead group? About 11, I want to say. Oh, the 19 car is blowing up behind this group. That's Arlen Handstrom. That held up Sky and Jetta quite a bit. So Malikson leads the way as Janet Parkings sits in second. Ava Jarsaraj is meeting minimum speed pace at the moment, so this 98 will not be parked. Again, minimum speed pace is usually about 3 to 4 seconds from the leader times.
You know, you can say what you want about Janet Parkings and the aggression that she's showing, but I think I mentioned it earlier, like, that aggression, it pays off.
Yeah, and Parkings did have the lead that time by... Now, DeLotte's not meeting the minimum speed. But I had no opportunity to check that, so... It is very likely Bria DeLotte will be told to come off the track here very, very shortly.
That's a huge loss for that 55 team. So right now, they came into this race 7 points above the cut line. I think they're going to exit at a borderline must-win next race.
Most likely, yes. The 15 and the 9 are also not meeting minimum speed time. And the minimum speed time is being considered as 31 flat right now. 20 is also not meeting this time.
There goes one of the drivers we thought maybe had a chance of getting the win tonight.
Meanwhile, here's the battle for the lead. The 6, 92, and 23. These three fighting it out right now, but again, there's still a fair few cars that are catching up to this group right now that are trying to make something, that are trying to get to them and make something happen. McJasmina is the leader. Jamie McJasmina was doing a pretty solid job last week at Laguna Seca, leading that race as well throughout a good portion of it. I think she ended up finishing in the top 10 that week. Let me cross-check this. Oh, no, she finished 18th. Okay, I was lying. Anyways, Ellie, you got word on what happened with Arlen Handstrom?
Yeah, I heard from the 19 team that it seems like the header is what ended up going on that car, which is unfortunate for that team.
Handstrom's had some really tough luck to end this season. Knocked out of the playoffs in the first round. Knocked out of the playoffs in the first round.
For that team.
Yeah.
Especially watching her teammates still competing. You know, Yeah, we're seeing you as a competitor. I'm sure she's gonna come back next year with a chip on her shoulder.
Yep, I mean, it was recently announced that she is re-signing with that team, so...
How about the 17 car? We don't see her running up front a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, this 17 car has been running a lot better with pace than Yuria driving it. I mean, Dira Reister obviously out for the season with those concussion symptoms. They put Yuria in the car. Was in the 82 most of the season, but she moved to that 17. Won at Watkins Glen. She's still running as a... She still seems... She looks like she's just... That car's just been much faster with Yuria in it.
There's Garnston. So we reach another laps car.
Garnston not slow enough to be parked, so...
That's going to slow down the 23, Yappy Malikson. Rachel Cole again getting caught up in one of these. And there is Hala Zukovic.
Jukovic looking for the lead. I don't know if Jukovic has a lap led quite yet. I don't believe she does. But Jocelyn and Niall Hale doesn't either.
Yeah, it looks like neither of them are really willing to work with each other right now. Still competitors at the end of the day.
Well, neither of them will get it because the 46 is the leader. 64 could get it this time. There's the 8 of Schlesenbach. Caution is out. There is a spin in turn number
26.
1. That is the 26 of Sophie Chantaze. I'm not 100% sure on what happened there.
Looks like by the tire marks, she made contact with the outside wall.
It looks like it. 13 of Yania Waterton will be the free pass car here, by the way. She was in this lead pack. She was a lap down, but was in the lead. Ellie, do you have information on Sophie Chantaze's incident?
Yeah, I've got a report, and they're saying that her tire ended up going down, and she just couldn't control the car, and that's how she spun out.
Well, that would do it.
Really unfortunate for the 26, but very, very fortunate for Yania Waterton, who came into this race 16 points below the cut line, now getting back onto the lead lap. Still going to have a chance to maybe make up some of that, especially with Delad and some other drivers like Agar Siraj and Kosama having issues. You know, every little bit helps.
92 wins the race out of pit road. The 60 car of Emery AWSCO appears to be out of the race as well. I wonder if that is related.
Yeah, she might. I mean, I theorize the 26 might have got turned over the nose of the 60 if we have another retirement from the incident.
Not sure if the 96 is lead lap or not. I'm just standing by to see if the 96 is lead lap or not, and if I need to wave her around. I don't even see the 96 on the sheet. Oh, she's 2 laps down. Okay. So she most likely will be waved around here then, yes. "13 will get the wave around now. We'll get the playoff car running positions as we get some more information here. But as we cross the line, I believe Michele Yatica is the leader. I don't see why Brugatino would have made up 2 laps. Yes, okay. So we're going to go back and see what brought out the caution with Sophie Chantaze. She was in the lead pack, too. Oh, she gets in the wall.
Oh wow, she really just couldn't control the car.
Yeah.
That was, so what happened to 60 then?
Completely on her own. Not sure what happened with AWSCO.
Maybe debris could have caused a failure.
Oh, she runs into the 3 coming into pit
Oh.
road. It's coming into pit road. She just can't get slowed down enough.
Oh. I mean, that's just...
I mean, she was way far back of the field, so I'm not sure if that was just a misjudgment or if they were just a little too slow for her.
That's like maybe talk to the spotter about that one. That's a tough one to judge.
Yeah. So we'll get our wave arounds for lap cars. There are a few that are in between the top 10.
Hey, shout out to the a lot of teammates up here. The 62, 32, 34,
And
64.
Yeah, that's all the Atlantic cars in the top 7 at the moment. So Yatika, Nihil, Haurina, Parkings, Yanaga, Rariston, Yukovic, Little, Talberson, Malikson is the top 10 at the moment.
The 39 too, making it back up to here.
Yeah,
Sure, the 39 got caught in the second pack that first run.
I think she did, yeah. I mean, there's probably going to be another decent split here. I don't know why the 82 isn't waving, but... So, playoff cars where they run right now. Nihil is 2nd. Yukovic is 7th. Little is 8th. Malikson is 10th. Ajarsaraj 33rd. Alicante's 24th. Davison 17th. Tosima is 26th. Waterton 20th. And retired from the race, Delad in 35th. That's the only playoff car out of the race right now, and she is out based on minimum speed. So we will have the update as soon as we can on the on how the cut line looks. But it looks good for some people and bad for some. That's all I will say.
It's probably looking pretty good for Yukovic, who running in the top 10 coming into this race 20 points ahead. We get the green flag.
It absolutely is looking good for Yukovic. She's actually 34 points up at the moment.
That's a Daytona 500 winner, looking for a potential title run here.
Yeah. And she's the one driver on this team that they didn't re-sign in their re-signing period. So maybe looking at proving them a little wrong about some things.
I mean, I would definitely be coming in with a chip on my shoulder, so every race now is an audition for Yukovic.
Nihil looking to the inside on Yatika for the race lead. Nihil will take it away as we get that restart. And I think we could have had a really long green flag run there if not for the 26's problems.
Yeah, it looks like the drivers have started to organize more to kind of click off laps as opposed to maybe fighting for a position now that more drivers have been cold for contention.
Nihil leads at the line. I do have the update, by the way. Yukovic 34 up. Nihil with the lap lead goes to 26 up as of the last caution. Malikson 23 up. Little is plus 13. Andrea Davison, the last one in right now, 1 point above the cut line as things stand. And Alicantes was 1 behind.
I mean, the points were definitely pretty close coming into this race, but that's still a lot of movement.
We saw in the Continental race as well that there were several drivers that got kicked into must-win situations. Like Naomi Davenport ended up dropping to being 35 points behind the cut line. She absolutely will probably have to win at Rockingham if she has any shot at continuing to fight for a title. For Bria Delade, though, the one car out of the race right now, she's only 7 points out. As it runs, I don't think Delade is in a terrible position considering everything else. But again, things can change very quickly.
I am surprised at how lopsided the Continental standings are. It's very polarized between the top 3 top two, and then the bottom two.
Abby Little out front.
Little, Yukovic, Yadika, and Malikson.
And look at who's making their way up through right now. That's Irina Tosima in the 93 car. She is a lap down at the moment. But if she can get a caution and get in front of some of these other cars, she could very well get back on the lead lap and have a shot at winning this thing. We saw Hieta Yoko yesterday in the Continental race, had multiple mechanical issues, and still came back to win the race. So anything's possible.
Yoko's determination was certainly palpable, and you could see it in their face at the end there. Tosima, though, that's a lot of pace for a car that was involved in a wreck earlier today.
I mean, we saw Cassidy Jones yesterday involved in multiple accidents, still had managed to have pace. She looked like she was off pace for a while, and then all of a sudden that car just had pace again and had pace to run with the leaders. So I'm not sure this 93 really has that much damage. Again, she is not the leader of the race. She is scored a lap down at the moment. Aislinn Yeri actually gets credit for leading that lap. The 8 of Schliesenbach was actually off pace before the caution flag came out. She's still off pace, so Schliesenbach will be done for the day.
A couple Red Racing cars in the top 10 up here, one of them trying to take the lead.
Andre Davison. You got both of their cars that are in the playoffs are up in this top 10, because you got Davison and Malikson are up here, and then a little further back. Okay, never mind. Wandayo is not in this group. Oh, Wandayo's kind of dropped into this group back here. I see.
Yeah, and Stoneman has damage.
Stoneman is damaged, but still running.
Got a huge run there.
Yeah, Mila Chestina in that 42 car. Again, Chestina also ran in the Continental race yesterday. And Chestina ran pretty well in that race. But she was also one of those cars that was kind of one of the wrecking balls of the field yesterday. I think she was involved in multiple different incidents.
Sometimes you just have days like that, especially on tracks like this, where you just can't keep your nose clean.
I mean, that's the thing with Chestina as well, is she has pretty little experience on these kinds of tracks. Coming from Czechia, hadn't really even run that much oval racing before stepping into the Continental Series in the middle of the season.
Who is that? And second place right there.
That is Yania Waterton. And in fact, that may be the 13 going for the lead if she can hold on here. 22 trying to get into the middle lane.
Indeed, if Talberson can't get there.
I'm going to catch the 38. I think the 38 did not meet minimum pace on that last lap, so 38's going to be done here. We'll get off the track just as the leaders approach.
And Yania Waterton leads a lap.
Waterton does, in fact, lead the lap, so bonus point to the 13 if she didn't get one already.
Yeah, much needed.
Yes. Much needed. We're going to ignore the fact that there are 3 playoff drivers right now that there are only 3 other playoff drivers right now that don't have a lap lead. So pretty much everybody has a lap lead at this point, with the exception of the 62, 93, and 98. And
if you're not getting an advantage, you're doing damage control.
Yep.
The 13 car needs to do that.
Yep, because Waterton already came in well behind.
Regardless, Davison takes the lead back and is looking fast every time that she's really managed to solidify control of the race.
Well, it's kind of like what we saw from Robin Morales yesterday in the Continental race. Morales, when she would get out front, she could lead for laps at a time. There's going to kind of be that there's those stages of the race where one car gets out front that's just fast enough to just kind of do that, kind of just control the field's pace. And Andrea Davison doing her best to try to make up that ground that she lost at Laguna Seca. I mean, Davison has been, I would say, ever since she won at Oregon a few weeks ago, I would say Davison has been my championship favorite. Talberson to the lead.
Here comes Colda.
And again, I think it's pretty. I think with what we've seen, we're gonna definitely set a lead change record. I don't see anything suggesting otherwise right now.
I think there's just so many competitive cars still in this lead pack. You're still seeing that zipper effect as it goes.
Yeah.
And since the middle lane really hasn't taken hold at all this race, it's just going to keep going that way.
There's still 17 cars on the lead lap in this front pack, let alone the cars, you know, the 93, the 82 kind of tailing onto this pack. Those two cars who are still a lap down, still in this pack. So they've caught the 3 and the 26. They're going to have to maneuver around the lap cars. Man, that's something you're going to see here more than at the other play tracks we go to. The minimum speed time is a lot more forgiving at a track like this, just because the track is much smaller.
Here comes Yukovic, and oh, there's the 93 again.
There's the 62. She's trying to get that lap led, and I believe she's got it. Yes, she does. So there's the bonus point to the 62. So it's now down to the 93 and 98 are the only two cars that don't have a lap led in the playoffs. And, well, the 98's not getting that anytime soon. She's 3 laps down at the moment. And the 10 is just barely within minimum speed pace. She's 3.8, which is like 0.2 of a second under the minimum speed time.
We're starting to see this lead pack kind of spread out a bit.
You know, I think that's a very good addition that they have a minimum speed time for cars, for lap cars, just because, well, one, how this game works, and two, it doesn't mean that if you're like just a tiny bit off pace, you get parked immediately. Angeli Rugatino, 2-time winner this season. She won at Calder Park. She won at Iowa. She's out front. But Rachel Cole in the 52, trying to grab that lead right back on a bit of a crossover move there. And now we are starting to see, you know, we're about 20 or so laps into this run. We're about 20 or so laps into this run. They are starting to, the top line is starting to be a little bit better than the bottom lane. We kind of saw, this is something we were kind of forecasting in yesterday's race. As the run goes on, the top will just slowly, incrementally get better. That's what we're seeing. Little back to the front.
I think the main thing holding back the top line right now is just lack of organization, but you can definitely see the pack starting to spring back together now. I think it'll change soon.
Everybody's pretty well split apart right now. It's kind of not really like bunched up like it had been, you know, a decent bit ago.
Iria gonna push Talberson to the lead here. And potentially...
And Yuria might go for it herself.
Alicia Byrne behind her.
And one thing I'll be very interested in is when green flag pit stops occur, what's that going to do for the field? How is that going to split the field up?
Interesting with strategy, especially in a track like this.
Because the window's about 65 laps here, just because in the draft you can just save a lot of fuel.
Alicia Byrne to the lead, but Yukovic will try to get underneath here coming to the line.
Yep, got the 93 with a push. That was close enough to where I didn't know who to call, but it is Jukovic who gets credited with the lead. So they catch the 27 of Garnston. Garnston's not terribly badly off pace, running 29-second laps. You know, most of these leaders still running in the 28-second bracket. Interestingly as well, actually, might point out the fastest lap point right now belongs to the 55 of Bria Delade. So right now, as it stands, the 55 currently holds another point in her pocket. That could obviously change, but that's a very crucial point for the 55 to have right now.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that change until after pit stops, if it changes at all. But, I mean, that... anything to stop the bleeding for the 55 is going to help out.
Well, as of the last caution, having that point puts her 6 points behind the cut line. But yeah, we'll be more in detail when we go to next week's race at Rockingham regarding how the cutoff, how the cut line is going, how the live points work. But with this race, just because it's so much changes so often, it's very much going to be kind of more of a race of, we're going to update you whenever everything is stable. Which most likely will only be under yellow flag periods. Andrea Davison doing the dive to the inside on Pace Linearia.
Right now, you're 3 to watch for the win, like, as far as, like, who's going to win this race. It's really early to call. But I'd look at the 22, the 71, maybe the 62. It's Davison, Little, and Jukovic.
Yeah. I will say I have to agree, but also I feel like there are some other names here that I think may just not have shown their hand yet. But Jasmine looked pretty strong earlier in a couple earlier runs. I still think the 72 has something in her. Even though she's been a bit aggressive in this race, I think that aggression could help her, you know, especially later on.
Well, every team is going to have to execute on pit road here coming up within the next 10 to 15 laps, I think. Unless they pit in the last caution.
They did pit in the last caution, yes.
Okay, so it's going to be a minute.
It's going to be, I'm expecting about lap 100 or so. .42 car of Chistina going to lead this time by. And yeah, now we are starting to see that the bottom lane is not as strong. I mean, the bottom lane can still make moves, can still get moves done. I mean, that was how Yoko did make the pass yesterday in the Continental race. She still did do the, she still made it on the bottom lane, even after about a 50-lap run on tires. But it took a lot more work than it would have, say, 10 laps into the run. Ziania Waterton looks to make moves here. There's 4 playoff drivers on that bottom lane right now, all kind of lined up. With Waterton, Little, Davison, and Tosima, who of course is a lap down. You have another playoff car on the top lane right now in Jocelyn and Nihale.
I thought Little was going to try to force the 13 out of line. 71's been showing her nose a lot.
Interestingly, the 22 is going to get shoved out of line by the lap car of Tosima, but Davison is going to end up jumping to the high side here.
Yeah, Nihil cut her a break there for sure.
Well, you don't need to not cut her a break at this point. We're not even 100 laps in.
First into the bottom.
Waterton will take the lead. Yanni Waterton won the pole at the Daytona 500 earlier in the year. Just hasn't been a very good season for her, but she's managed to keep the season alive by winning at Kentucky, and she's just managed to squeak her way through both rounds of the playoffs so far. So this being that team's toughest test yet, as that team kind of losing manufacturer support because they're moving manufacturers next year.
I'm gonna say you saw the 39 push Abby Little pretty hard into the corner, gave the 71 a pretty decent run. This pushed the 13 back.
Yeah.
Halberstam probably going to try to pull the same move on the 71 here, the teammate behind, so ERR can potentially take better control of this race. We'll see how that works out for them. See, the 39 does go into the 71.
Well, again, you want to try and get as much as you can for Tosima here as well, because Tosima, still a lap down. If there's a yellow flag, you want Tosima back in the lead lap.
It's actually an immense advantage, too, for the 39, because the 93 can't compete for this win. So 93
I don't know.
is a pusher.
93 is, I don't know. 93's looked fast enough to be a leader. I could totally see the 93. I mean, this car clearly does have at least a little bit of pace.
I'm not saying the 93 couldn't win it by the end, but I did not expect them to push the 93 to the front here.
Thought 39 really slowed up. I thought they might have had an issue or something, but no, just 39 car just slowed up really badly on the top lane. Yuria takes the lead. They're catching this group. There's Perry Alacantes. And the 18 car at the tail end of this pack. Well, not even really a pack. It's just kind of a two-car draft with Alacantes and Ijavida. So they'll approach these lap cars, and that is going to throw another shuffle into the things here, because approaching the lap cars means, well, these cars haven't been tremendously slow, so they could filter into the pack. It's very possible these two could filter into the pack. I mean, the 27 has been tagging along to the back of this group as well, actually, ever since they lapped her, so the only car I'd be worried about, the car that very clearly can't keep pace, is the 10.
Yeah, Stoneman obviously getting turned in front of the field will probably not help your car's pace.
No, that usually doesn't do help.
Oh god. Oh, I thought the 72 might push the envelope there. Decided against it. Very grateful.
I think she's learned her lesson, maybe. I don't know. It's Janet Parkins. Not sure anything goes through her head.
I mean, nothing but rage until she crosses the finish line.
Halis Jukovic to the front. As he approach lap 100 here.
Looking very, very impressive today as far as pace and preparation goes.
And by this point in the Continental race, I don't think we'd had a single green flag run longer than about 20 or 25 laps. This green flag run, we've been going for about 40, 45, something like that.
Long race, so glad to be taking off some laps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alexson, thinking about going down, Yatika's there. See if she makes the move. Maybe with Tosima.
No, I don't think she's going for it.
That's a tough spot.
Yeah, the 93 just barely had a bumper to the inside, and I don't think Malikson could have made that move very safely.
I'm gonna get a run. The 39's been shown to be a really good pusher today.
26 car of Shantaze. Is Shantaze holding the pack, or do they just catch her as a lap car? I can't tell 100%. Am I in the wall, or am I just hearing things? I think I'm just hearing things.
Sorry, I was chewing on some tinfoil.
Oh, that would do it. Are we letting like cats in the booth something now?
That would be pretty awesome. In fact, I think maybe we should talk to ESN about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do they have the budget for that?
I mean, like, if we need to get some, I'm sure the fans would be willing to chip in for some cats.
We'll crowdfund it. We'll start a GoFundMe.
Yeah, the Kickstarter for the ESN mascot, and it's just a hairless cat. Here comes Janet Parkings.
Parkings has got a good run. She's not going to do anything with it, though. She's kind of choosing to stay behind the 62 right now.
Saving a bit of fuel.
Yeah.
Either that or Yukovic really has found, like, another level.
Yukovic got away quite a bit when the 26 got in front of these leaders. I mean, the 26 clearly has some pace. Like, she's sticking with the leaders in this pack right now. So the 26 is not... the 26 clearly has some kind of pace here. Right now, Yukovic, though, looks very strong in that 62. This is about the best we've seen a car get on the outside lane all day. Although, to be fair, we are kind of reaching that point of the tire run where, you know, the outside lane is just stronger. And even then, here comes Rachel Cole. She's got everyone going with her. I imagine this will end up being that lead change that we're imagining, but it's going to come from Rachel Cole in the 52 car instead, who actually, interestingly, Cole is out of a ride for next year. They've already announced who's going to replace her in the 52 car, so...
Must be awkward, but you commend a driver for showing up and competing at a high level regardless.
Yeah, I mean, Cole hasn't run terribly this season, so I'm sure somebody will get her. And I mean, I know that there's going to be a lot of teams in the Continental Series as well looking for drivers with Cup experience, so... You know, somebody like Rachel Cole, who kind of on that border of being a Cup driver or not, could be someone that very well you might want to look at. They're catching the one of Alicia Vancy. Vancy is the last car on the lead lap right now, but she is pretty off pace. Now, the interesting thing now, if you're Tosima, you want to get past that one car as soon as you can. Because if there's a yellow, that would give the free pass to the one car and not you.
Yeah, and Tosima's fallen back a bit. Not sure how likely the yellow is at this point, though.
Well, the pack's just broken up a fair bit at this point. I think that's kind of more so what's happening is that the pack's just kind of split apart a decent amount. Everybody's more so running single file, kind of trying to save at the moment. It's just that as the tire run goes, you just can't really keep going too wide. It just becomes much more about handling than anything else at this stage. Yukovic back to the lead as we cross the line on cross the line to end lap 99. I was going to say lap 100, but That's the next lap. Well, this lap, I guess. Yappy Malikson gets the second. I see Nietzsche Garnston has come down pit road. So has Perry Alicantes. Those two were cars that were laps down, kind of just tailing at the back of at the end of this pack. So they may just be trying something to get out in front. I imagine we're going to see pit stops pretty soon because of that. Those two, the 3 and the 98, both cars that are not past the minimum speed threshold, but still not on pace particularly. Jukovic kind of using the draft off these cars now. So I think that this is going to cause an even bigger split at this point. And the 62 is going to kind of use the draft of the lap cars to get up to them.
Yeah, Jukovic is in a good spot here. If she can execute properly. Oh, the 23.
I'm not sure that many of these cars have the grip right now to get underneath the 62 at the moment.
Yarsaraj needs to move out of the way, and she does.
Yeah, but it doesn't help if the 52 just kind of goes in between the 98 and the 3 for whatever reason. I think we got cars coming down pit road, actually. Yep, 17.
Here's the 17.
52. 52 with a dive from way up the racetrack down pit
That
road.
was terrifying.
Lucky that nobody was to the inside. Waterton looks like came down pit road already. And Jetta was down. I think Waterton came down pit road by herself. I believe Halverson is in this time. A couple lap cars in as well within that 39. The one car of Vancy, I see the 96, 72, and the 82 are in. 71 of Abby Little exiting now. So yeah, we got pit stops right now, and a lot of things can change now. Malikson is in. Jukovic, I believe, is going to stay out just one more lap, and then Jukovic will come in. Here comes Nihil. Here comes Alicia Byrne. Yatica is going to try to jump the 64 on pit entry. Chishina, Davison, and Rariston. This is going to be the big pack breaker, I think. This is going to be what breaks the pack up the most. Just because everybody's kind of got different pit strategies right now. Jukovic will finally make her way down pit road. So we'll see how everything cycles out now. Not 100% certain on who is leading at the moment. I think the 46 actually came down with the 62. So those cars exit now. There's the 23 of Malikson. And there's kind of a group back here with Talberson leading this group. Malikson's going to jump everybody. Jukovic is going to lose a bit of time here. She's going to lose a fair bit of ground, actually. I think Malikson's going to get out the best from this.
The rich get richer, as we say.
Yappy Malikson takes the race lead away, but here comes the 39 of Lily Talberson. You got the 13 of Yanni Waterton here. Payson Yuri is here. No, we're deep into this. We're pretty deep in, and we still have a lot of playoff cars at the front of the field, so this race isn't over by really any means. And now, of course, you have these leaders battling with each other. They're getting side by side again, and I kind of wonder. Now we've kind of got this second plaque that's split off. How far back is this group? I'm actually kind of curious. They're about 4 seconds back. I don't know if this group will catch back up to the lead group, actually, now that I think about it.
All it takes is a couple cars out of that lead group to lose the draft in the next few
Yeah.
rounds. Whether that happens or not, we'll see.
Well, this lead group is about 11 cars, although they've kind of been split apart by the 21 here. It's kind of an 11-car lead draft. Then back behind this group is 7. Well, I guess it could be 12 if that second group is able to, if that group behind them is able to hook back to them, but I don't know how likely that is to happen. That group could be well off base for all I know. We have made it through a green flag pit cycle here at Atlanta. 113 laps complete as they cross the line. Michele Yatica scored the lead at the line. Jocelyn Nihale, Lily Talberson in third as the playoff cars run at the line. Well, as they run right now, Nihale leads, Waterton is second. Sixth is Abby Little. Yappy Malikson is 10th, and Halis Jukovic is 11th. Sorry, Abby Little is actually 5th, as they just crossed the line this time. Arinia Tosima is still scored 20th at the moment. And then everybody else in the playoffs, Davison 14th. Ava Ajarsaraj still 28th. And then no change has happened with Bria Delade, because Delade is out of the race. Does still hold the fastest lap point, though, and I would not be surprised if Delade is able to hold on to that to the end of the race, just because we don't really have anywhere as near a big of a pack as we did at the start of the race. And we won't have that pretty much the rest of the race.
A lot of Toyotas at the front now.
Sky and Jetta right now. Well, they were trying to lap her, but this car actually looks pretty decent on speed. She actually just ran her fastest lap of the race. So I think the
Speaking
16...
of, who has the fastest lap point?
It is still Bria Delade. The 27.640. Around
Red
this...
Racing teammates helping each other out, trying to take the lead here. Or not Red Racing teammates, my bad. I thought that was Davison. Yappy Malikson.
Malikson will take it, but will she hold on to it? Because here comes Nihale.
Has Nihale led a lap yet?
Yes. Every playoff car has led a lap except for Tosima and Ajarsaraj. And Ajarsaraj, it's not happening. Tosima will very much depend on if she can get back on the lead lap, which...
We'll see.
Oh, caution. Caution is out. The 18 is stopped in turn number 2. Well, she was.
Huge playoff implications for that one, and really ironic given the topic of conversation.
Yeah, and Tosuma's not going to get the free pass because she's not the first car a lap down. It is Sky and Jetta in the 16. Yellow flag is out. And that's going to slow everything down. And it will give us a chance to actually get to look at the playoff cut line 2 here. So, and Jetta will get the free pass once everybody makes their stop. It's the first time we've gotten to a caution and Mikel Yatica wasn't leading the race, by the way. Because Yatica led us back to the yellow, both of the last 2. Looks like it's just mostly fuel only for a fair few of these cars. So the 16 will get to wave by. We'll get information on the 18 as soon as we can. But I believe Jocelyn Nihil is going to be scored the leader. Ellie, you have a update on the 18 Imperial Alicantes?
Yeah, I do have an update on Alicantes, and what ended up happening to her was she was another car that has had a tire go down on her.
I wonder if that was the same thing as what happened to Shantaze, because it looked like she was stopped in basically the same position. So Nihil is the leader. I'm just waiting for confirmation as they cross the line here. Yep. So it's Nihil, Little, Yiria, Cole, Talberson, Malikson, Yatica, Yukovic. The 93 will get back on the lead lap here. Yanaga and Chistina. Not sure why the 10 isn't going here, but we'll figure it out in a moment here, I suppose. In the meantime, see what happened to the 18 of Alicantes. Yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, that's a right rear blowout by the looks of it.
Probably. Some cars kind of got on the
ball.
You spilled it.
Looks like all those cars managed to wave by fine. Just took a bit for whatever reason, but... So that is good news for Arminia Tosuma, because that means that, yeah, Tosuma is back on the lead lap from that.
I guess next goal for her is get to the front.
Get to the front, get that lap led. Again, she's going to have to maneuver through everybody here. I mean, there's still quite a few cars that are off pace in front of her that she's going to need to maneuver through. She's going to be at the back of this 30-car restart line. I mean, so as it stands, we're gonna go through the playoff cars. Nihale is the leader. Little is second. Malikson is 6th. Yukovic is 8th. Waterton is 12th. Davison is 13th. Jarsaraj 28th. Alicante's 29th. And Tosima 19th. Green flag. We're back to racing.
Little did not get a good jump there.
71 did not go at all.
It's gonna potentially create a pretty big run though if Yuri is committed to pushing her.
13 really didn't go on that restart.
How about Yatica? Jumped to the bottom, immediately started passing cars, no help. Big run for the
Yeah, I'm not
We'll see
100%
how long it
certain.
works out.
Not really sure how that's going to work out for her. The 13 looks very slow. I'm not sure what is going on with that car, but she does not look like she has pace to keep up right now.
Is there anything mechanical going on?
I don't know.
We'll see what happens because Waterton's already in a bit of a desperate situation points-wise.
Yeah, she came in pretty far back, and
Here comes Yuria.
Paceland Yuria taking the lead. But here comes the 92 of Mikhail Yatica. She's got a help from Halis Jukovic in the 62 car. We got about 10 cars kind of sticking in this lead group at the moment.
Yeah, I think those fresh tires are definitely showing in the aggression. Because the grip is high right now.
Yep. And again, that's something we saw in that last run too, is just with those, when you have those better tires, you just have more grip to make moves in the bottom lane. You know, when the run dies out, when the run kind of gets to the end, it kind of just tapers off a lot.
I'm saying my prayers right now that they don't go 4 wide. Jukovic leading that lap.
Yeah, Waterton's very slow. Davison is also pretty off pace. I'm not 100% certain as to what happened to the 22. The 13 just came down pit road, apparently. So she must have had some kind of damage coming down pit road under caution, I believe. As they are 4 wide, here comes Yappy Malikson trying to make a look, but they end up slotting back in.
Yeah, Malik's backing off a little bit. That is a wise choice.
I'd have not realized they were 4 until... well, they'd already started doing it.
It's also unfortunate for Davison to be so off the pace because Davison also came into this race in a hole.
Yeah, absolutely. She needs a good run, and
I think the person who's benefited most from all of these playoff drivers having rough races is Arinia Tosima.
yeah, the 93's gotten pretty lucky since the incidents. She is kind of trying to make moves through this group actually as well. I mean, the 93 car clearly has some speed left in it.
I mean, I think just mathematically, she's bound to jump at Yarsaraj and potentially Davison after this race. Like, I don't know, she's going to be kind of neck and neck with maybe Alicantes and Delad going into the next race, and that's a margin she can work with. However, Yukovic and Malakson, at this rate, I don't think they're going to have much to worry about next week.
Yeah.
Nihale's also going to give herself a pretty decent margin, I think.
I think so, yeah.
With Little doing good, I think it's going to be a dogfight for that last, like, 5th position into the next round. Assuming that the worst doesn't happen.
So as it stood at the yellow flag, I do have an update here. Yukovic had a 41-point lead on the cut line. Nihale was up 27. I believe... Oh, excuse me. Nihale was up 33. Malakson is up 30. Little is up 19. And Davison is up 6. Alicantes trails by 6. So does Delad. Tosima trails by 12. Ajar Siraj by 13. And Waterton by 16.
The Waterton's breaking even as of the yellow flag, although I think that's a lot of that's probably changed a little bit. But yeah, pretty much, yeah, that 5th spot is going to be what a lot of drivers are shooting for. Assuming that, like, we don't have, like, an early DNF from drivers like Little or
Yeah.
maybe even Malakson if it goes poorly enough. Yukovic, however, I think she just needs to finish well.
Yukovic is in a great position. If she can finish it out, she's in a really, really good position.
I mean, she might just lock herself in anyway at this rate.
Davison is not meeting minimum pace at the moment, but they've already caught her, so... she did meet it last time. I don't know, that 22 is weird. It's been meeting it, and then sometimes it doesn't. Nihale really got held up by that, but interestingly as well, the 22 holding these cars up actually might drag this second group in to the leaders, because they're kind of slowly starting to get back into the fray here.
You know who's going to benefit from that?
93. I mean, it would be fitting if we saw a driver, if we saw another driver go from, a lap down, having those problems, to getting back up to the front and winning the race.
It'd be kind of a punctuation mark on the weekend.
Yeah.
I'll say Yataka's done really, really good this run.
Yeah. Yataka's looked pretty strong. I mean, we also know that that's another thing as well for Michele Yataka, is it was announced this week she's not coming back to this car either. They're putting Izzy Oren from the Continental Series in that car, which, I mean, again, I probably would too if, I had a driver that had 4 wins in the Continental Series.
Yeah, I think that's just an unfortunate situation. It's hard to say that Oberman doesn't deserve the opportunity, because she absolutely does.
For Michele Yataka, she's auditioning for a ride right now, and she's doing a pretty good job, I think. I mean, she's probably been about one of the best drivers of some of the cars. She's been one of the best drivers of some of the drivers who I think are on the border of maybe making it to Cup next year or not.
As far as Cup drivers go, I really do want to say, like, I'm praying I don't commentators curse this. Abby Little has done surprisingly well this playoff run.
She has, and again, I think that's something as well. It's just Little is just kind of locked in. Whenever she's under pressure, she's locked in. Like, this second half of the season has been extremely good for Abby Little. I think she's kind of
makes me wonder what she could do if she could harness that motivation over the course of an entire season. But yeah, to be potentially fighting for a championship after the season that she's had, especially early on, is a remarkable comeback for the 71 team. The
I mean, she's
opposite of that. I'm sorry.
she's kind of cemented herself as well as a bit of a fan favorite driver, so that's gotta help. That's gotta help out too. I mean, Abby Little has a huge fan base.
I'm living evidence of that. I'm a big Abby Little fan myself. But kind of the opposite story of Abby Little this year is Yappy Malikson. Yappy's been like at the top of the standings for like so long, and has just been consistently good, but just hasn't been flashy about it. And it's an interesting thing to see from the 23, because she's absolutely one of the best and most consistent drivers in the series. But we don't talk about her a whole lot. She's just always up there.
Yeah, Malikson has very much had a season of she kind of just runs and isn't flashy. She just gets the finishes she needs to. That's kind of how it's been all year long, and that's just something I've mentioned a lot when Yappy Malikson gets him in the battles at the front of the field, or when Yappy gets in the battles at the front of the field, it's always at the end of the race. She's never really messing around at the beginning of the race. She'll start out back. She'll just run there for a little bit. But she'll finish where she needs to when it's that time. Kind of been the same for Jocelyn and Nihil in a way. Although Nihil led the points for a good bit of this season, in the early season, still doesn't have a win either. Nihil and Malikson have kind of had two very similar seasons. And
Yeah,
unfortunately,
it's pretty interesting.
Unfortunately, they are giving the word to Andre Davison that the 22 will be done.
I wonder what that's going to mean for the point situation. If Davison, depending on how it turns out for some other drivers, Davison might be in a must-win situation going forward.
I'm not sure if Davison's going to be that badly affected by it. At the caution, she was scored 17th. And right now, she'll probably drop down to 30th, pending any other drivers who are below her in the standings right now having further issues.
Well, she was at least able to do a little bit of damage control before the car broke down.
Yeah. I mean, she led quite a bit.
Speaking of, here comes Audie Stoneman and the 2-car as well.
Well, these two are lap cars. 210 and 98 are lap cars right now. They're not tremendously slow.
Surprising for the 10, I guess another pit stop and repairs helped out a bit. Also surprising to see the 91 up there. She kind of, Alicia Byrne kind of snuck up on us there.
Yeah, Burns kind of just not really been doing a lot, but I think a lot of that as well. The 91 was kind of in that second group that's caught up to the front group now. Look at who's making moves now. Here comes the 93. If she can get that lap led after the day that she's had, that's going to be a big boost to her. It would literally leave the 98 as the only playoff car now without a lap led.
It's unfortunate for Yarsaraj.
Yeah, and Jarsaraj, pretty unlikely that she'll get that lap led. She's 5 laps down at the moment.
That said, the 98 is she's the kind of driver who can show up when she needs to.
Yeah.
Going into next week.
They've got Rockingham next week. Furieva Jarsaraj, I mean, she's only won on the ovals this year, but she's been pretty solid on the short tracks too. They're gonna have to lock in at Rockingham pretty much.
Pretty much.
And Rockingham's gonna be so fun as a cutoff race. I'm not sure we could have picked a better track to have as the cutoff for going into the final race.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's an interesting track. It's unique. It's very heavy on driver skill and heavy on tire wear. Very high speed, short oval. It's a good one. I think it's going to be interesting to see with that team too, with Alicantes and Jarsaraj, both kind of in a must-win going into Rockingham, like how that team is gonna play next weekend.
They're catching up some more lappers, the 13, 3, and 1. There's Katrin Edelstein. Actually, right now, the 82 right there is currently the first car off the lead lap. She looks like she has some decent pace as well right now. I know she also got caught up in the same incident that the 93 did early on in the race. And that's what put her lap down, as they had to do some repairs to the car, but... Edelstein has not quit. And Edelstein, another one of those drivers right now that's doing the double duty schedule, running both the Continental and Cup at the end of this season. Edelstein did that to lock into this car for next season, so she'll be driving this car full-time next year.
Yeah, and even on days like this where you're really not competitive and you're not like spending a bunch of time at the front, it's valuable seat time and it's data you can go back and look at and use to develop yourself.
It's great experience. I mean,
Especially running in a pack like this.
Yeah. And, you know, for Edelstein, who ran the full season in the Continental Series, finished second at Daytona, she won at Hillside. She's still in the playoffs in the Continental Series. Granted, well behind the cut line right now. I think she's going into next week at Rockingham 32 points behind the cut line.
Speaking of the 32, hello, Sinula Rariston.
Yeah, Rariston. She's having a solid day. I mean, again, Rariston
Racing as a whole.
Yeah, the whole team's been pretty good. They're still, all of their cars are still in the lead pack, still running pretty cleanly.
Just realized too, it looks like those packs did inevitably link up. I see Mika Harina, who I know is in that second pack.
Yeah, they linked up a decent while back. I think some of the cars from that pack have been leading the race. Like Janet Parkins is out front right now, actually.
I wish I could say I was surprised, but really I'm not. I've been talking about how aggressive the 72 is for so long, and this is the part of the run where that aggression can actually work.
Interestingly as well, I want to point out the 16 Sky and Jetta. Remember she got the free pass last yellow? She's up here in the top 5 now, closing in on the leaders.
What a story of a season Sky and Jetta has had, too.
Yeah. I mean, she's run pretty well lately. Finished third last week at Laguna Seca. Finished top 5 at our home track at Oregon a few weeks ago. You've got, Angetta, a big story is that Angetta pretty much, they offered to re-sign her at Southwest Racing and she refused. So we don't know what's going to happen with Angetta. Other than
interesting to see.
It does not sound like she's going to be back at this team next year.
Vukovic made a huge move there. Took it 3 wide for a second. Didn't work out. But interesting to see her make that move. There's 3 Atlantic Racing cars right here that could link up to try and make a run. And there's McJasmine too. Some teammates linking up here and there.
Parkings out front. Nihale sitting second. Yatica is third, and we're starting to see that the pack is stringing out too, as well. Just because we're getting pretty deep. I think we're about 40 laps into this tire run, somewhere like that. It's getting a little more strong at the moment.
And Nihale gonna take point.
Nihale back to the front. Yatica gonna get by Parkings for second.
And Jetta gonna use Parkings as a pick, ironically. Slingshot herself around up to 3rd place. What a move.
Here comes Yatica looking for the race lead, but... And it's kind of weird with how the lines work, is sometimes that outside lane is a little better, sometimes the inside is better. Really just kind of depends how you drive the line. It's very interesting that this track is just very much more handling based than most of the other play tracks, and that's exacerbated here as well by the lack of the, by the smaller restrictor plate that they run. You just have more horsepower, so you can run. So you can just run a little bit. You can just run with that speed a little more in mind. We have reached the halfway point, by the way. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna remark about how the handling is such a big thing, and I mean, you saw that Sky and Jetta lost the rear end just a little bit there, and look how much momentum she lost.
Yeah, and look at how much it stacked the outside line up. Look at how it killed the momentum on the outside lane, and that's let the 92 get away to the lead here. She's got the 32 with her and the 71.
And speaking of, like we were talking about the 82 getting valuable experience.
I mean, she's up here towards the front. I mean, she has some pretty good experience. Katrin Edelstein was won in other series at Daytona multiple times. In fact, won back-to-back Daytona races in ISRC.
Yatica to the inside.
Yeah, Rariston got the lead there, but Yatika's going to take it back. Nihale is third. Edelstein, again, off the lead lap, but still running pretty solidly right now.
And Jetta managed to catch back up to the 82. See if she makes a move. Now, looks like Nihale.
Nihale goes for the lead. Janet Parking's trying to get underneath. Trying to make a big dive bomb there.
And that worked. Parking's making a smart move there to get behind Abby Little. See if those two can work together to make a run for the front. As Yatka and Nihale have just kind of taken point.
They're going to get away. Just for a little bit at the very least. Parking's looking at maybe 3 wide, but I think Little just had too much momentum for the 72 to make that move.
Yeah, Little's got a good car. You saw her side draft Cindy Rariston there and still keep enough momentum to stay ahead of the 72. I think that car kind of comes together later in the run. We saw that in the last run as well with the 71.
And as Yatica takes the lead, we've got our studio getting together at the moment. We're going to take you to our FanDuel Fan Studio for the mid-race report here. 170 laps complete from Atlanta. Rashi and Ellie will have all the details in the mid-race report. Take it away.
Yeah, welcome back everyone, and we're here back in the FanDuel Fan Studio midway through the race here. The Intuit QuickBooks 500 at Atlanta. I'm Rasha once again joined by Ellie here in the mid-race in the FanDuel Fan Studio for the mid-race report as we watch Janet Parkings leading the way here, but she's currently being hounded by quite a few cars, including the 62 of Halas Jukovic, who in a lot of ways I think has been one of the best playoff cars in this race, and as an extension, I think, of the entire round, really. Run pretty far up front here for most of the way, but there's quite a few other playoff drivers, including her Atlantic teammate, the 64 of Jocelina Nihale as well, as she looks to the middle here, maybe trying to send it 3 wide a little bit. She will think better of that for now. Tucking in behind her teammate. That's just going to let Parkings run a little bit further away here, as the racing continues to be continues to be intriguing. We've had cautions, but they've mostly been for tire failures, which is, I think, interesting. Quite a few teams, I think, having a little trouble. A few teams having trouble with their tires, especially. I guess with the Lewis heading out of turn 4, they seem to fail around the front stretch. We've had 2 cautions already because of that, but otherwise we've had fairly clean racing, including a full green flag cycle for now. But
yeah, this is a lot of what I expected. going into this, I had a feeling the Cup cars would handle it a bit better than the Continental cars would, and they would learn from how they raced in the Continental race here, and it looks like they have. We only saw them kind of have one incident where they went 4 wide and it got a little iffy, but generally that was very early on. I think it was like around lap 17, and not many cars were taken out from that. I think maybe 2 or 3. We've had some really clean racing. It's been really competitive racing, and it's been really fun to watch too.
Yeah, the racing has been pretty fun here. As we're seeing some of the pack change a little bit, see the 2 Atlantic cars move to the inside line here to try to gain a little bit of momentum. So if Shantase in the 26, I think that's a lap car moving up forwards. She is 23rd, so I think would be the first car 1 lap down. No, actually, she's got 2 laps down, actually. Or 3 laps down, that's quite a ways.
What's her pace?
See, she's running with the pack, so I think she's running just fine. Running 29s, so well within the distance. Here's the next pack of cars here. That includes the 18 of Alcontes, who had those tire problems before. We saw the 26, of course, had those tire problems as well. Looking at the second pack here, this includes the 98 and the 13. Both laps down. Let me see here. Are they running for position? No, they're both... Okay, they're both effectively stuck where they are, the 24th and 26th. So Yar Siraj will be running 26th, 5 laps down, and Yabi Malakson is running 26th, 3 laps down, half a lap behind as... Ooh, I think we have a caution. Or not. I think that was a car blowing... No, there will be a caution. Oh, I see the 93 slow. 93 is slow. A few cars were slow there. We'll have to check what happened, but it seemed to have...
Looks like something definitely happened.
I saw smoke, and I saw a car on the pit lane, which suggests that we might have had another mechanical issue of some sorts. Maybe a few cars got tangled up because of that. The 91 is on pit lane. That may be our suspect there. We'll get back to you on that, but it appears we may have had another mechanical failure induced caution. That's definitely been the name of the game here today.
Yeah, that's been the cause of most of the cautions here, mechanical related issues.
That would be our third, I think.
Yeah.
We'll reset the field here. 27 coming in.
We really haven't had any good...
This will give us a chance. This will give us a chance to kind of what do you call it? Kind of take a look at everything, all the playoff cars, see how they're running.
Yeah, and we really haven't had that many contact-related cautions.
No, they've been antsy. They've raced aggressively, but not since the beginning of the race, where obviously with the 2 wide start, everyone's kind of packed in together as naturally. That's kind of something we see all the time. Is when you have those. The racing is kind of different when you have. Ooh, okay, there were cars involved. The 91.
Oh wow.
Definitely blew up. Yeah, blew up on turn 4, and that's why. Cars, the 34, the 82, the 39, 16, and not quite the 23.
23 just scrapes by.
Yeah, I think the 90... Can we check where the 93 was? The 93 was a little slow. Yeah, I might have just had to slow down there, I think. I don't think she made contact with anyone. Nope. No. Got through it clean, so... The 93 of Tosama continues to make her way through the race without much damage. Gotten quite a few lucky breaks, I think, the Tosama, but
yeah,
managed to kind of stay at least in the running for the race here. We'll see how the field will shake out here. Quite a few cars, I think, that are going to be laps down, either getting waved around or maybe coming in this time. They're not coming in this time, right? So we're going to get a few cars getting waved around here from the front of the field. Again, we'll see how this shakes things up from the perspective of cars running positions, especially with our playoff cars. You see the 13 there, we'll get one of our laps back. Leader is the 64 of Nihil this time. Nihil leads the way. The 62 of Yukovic is running 3rd. So again, running really well. Abby Little with another good run, running 4th. So 32, 72, 6, 92, 16, and 23. Yappy Malakson, that's another playoff car right now, running 10th. Davison is out. I need to check her classified position fairly soon here. think the 18 of Alacantes is running a few laps down. She is. She did just get waved around. So let's check here. Check the rest of the standings here. Can you? The 96 getting waved around. 34, 93, 39, 17, 42, 52. 96 currently getting waved around. 91 is out for both damage and the engine. 1, 27, 26, 13 is 24th still. 22 will be 30th, yep. The 18 is still 28th, and the 98 is still 27th. So that's how the positions are shaping up right now. I think we have everyone, so we can get ourselves a little update here in terms of the playoffs. Give us a second here. Right now, as it stands, can we check our fastest lap first, actually? Ooh, 71's dropped down to the inside. That, I think, might be another mechanical problem. 55 continues to hold the fastest lap. That is crucial because, as it stands right now, with the way they're running, Alacantes and Delod are tied on points for the cut line position. They're both at 40-35 points. Delod's extra point coming from that fastest lap, and having that extra bonus point for the fastest lap would put her tied. In terms of a tiebreaker, I think it would still go. No, it would go to. I think it would go to Delod because she finished 17th at Laguna Seca. But of course, that's a situation that can change over time. But at the same time, Alacantes is running multiple laps down, so there's not many positions. There's a lot of positions she can gain, but it's gonna take a lot of work for her to gain any positions, given that she's running multiple laps down. The 71 of Abby Little is gonna have to come down pit lane here. Might be some sort of tire issue. Maybe they didn't get the tire. Maybe didn't get one of the wheels fastened in all the way. That seems to happen quite a few times. It does tend to happen. Typically, I feel like that's what happens when you come out of pit lane and then immediately have to come back in. But it'll be Jocelyn Nihil and Yenfi Yanaga here leading the way. Good jump by those two. The 62 of Yukovic hanging back a little bit as we're back under green in lap 183.
See how they handle this.
Yeah, looking at the rest of the field, Nihil on points is 33 up. Of course, that won't matter if she wins the race. Yukovic is 44 up as they run, which would be more than enough for her to effectively beat. That would be more than enough for her to at least be comfortable heading into the next race. Malikson running, who started this one 10th, would be 28 up, and Little, who was 4th, would be 23 up, but her having to come down pit lane is going to completely change the cut line battle as they're running 3 wide right now. 71 back out already. Where is she running right now? 1 lap down? Oh no, she is still on the lead lap. Still on the crucially, she's on the lead lap, but she's about to be lapped fairly quickly here. She might have to hope for a quick caution. As Nihil getting pinned up to the wall here by your teammate Yukovic. But all's not lost just yet for Abby Little, but she's in a very tenuous situation as the field is approaching upon her here. She's gonna want to try to stick to the lead lap, or at least ward off any other cars, or at least ward off any lap down cars. I don't think there's any in this pack, so she just needs to stick with this pack. And I think if we get a caution in fairly soon, she'll be back on the lead lap soon enough. But that's going to really shake things up, because between Little and Alacantes, who is on the cut line, that's 23 points between those two. So right now, the state of the cut line battle, whether or not it's particularly close or not, it kind of relies on where Abby Little runs, basically. Otherwise, we'd have effectively 4 cars that are very good on points heading towards heading to Rockingham. But look at Iridia Tosama here in the 93. Still looking to lead a lap. Hasn't done so just yet. She's looking to do so. Back on the lead lap, of course. fourth last time around. Will she get it? She will, but she's going to spin across the field. And that's going to be another caution. And a high drama here as Tosama finally leads the race, but spins out in front of the pack immediately afterwards. What a race we're having here today at Atlanta.
Yeah, that
Yukovic will lead them to the line.
That was something.
I'm not sure what that was. I'm not sure what that was about. I mean, you want to take the lead, but not like that. 71 in the free pass position. This is the quick caution she needed.
Yep, she was probably laughing as that happened.
And she didn't spin off of she wasn't. At least what do you call it? She didn't spin off little. Tosma didn't spin off little, so she isn't. She's not. I don't think. So she will, I think, receive the free pass. We'll see. Did she spin off the 71? That's going to be important. Did the 93 spin off of the 71? If she did, then the 71 will still be... Well, won't get the free pass, but at the same time, she'll probably be... Well, I say that, this kind of a bit of a wash because she's in the middle of the top 10 anyways. She'll still get waved around. She'll still be waved around, yeah. Because she'll be in the middle of the top 10. As long as she doesn't have a 5-hour pit stop and drop to the back, she'll be exact. It's kind of a wash, I think. This situation's a bit of a wash for her. Yeah, she did spin off the 71. That means she won't get the free pass, and it was barely 4 wide for like a half a second. It was 4 wide, but I think Yukovic backed out of it almost immediately. But I don't think Tosama received the message, and she drove up to the side of the 71 there. And yeah, she's coming out. Little's coming out second, actually. Yeah, she's coming out second in between the 6 and the 64. So she'll be waved around right immediately. That was a little dramatic, I feel like.
Yeah, that was very dramatic. Not really sure what the 93 had planned there.
Bit of a I'm not sure what to think of that entire what do you call it? Series of events if you're Arena Tosama, and if you're Abby Little for that matter. I'm not sure what you'd be thinking in that case.
I guess if you're Abby Little, it doesn't really matter because you're getting waved around anyway.
It doesn't matter. It's just one of those weird situations where you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
93 got her a lap lead. She did, yeah. 93 got her a lap lead, but definitely a costly way to do so, I think. We'll check our running order here. The 71 will get waved around. The 64 now running second.
You can hear a little cheer in the background.
62 running in third still. The 17, 42, 34, 52, and 96 are in your top 10. 21, 50... 21, I think, getting waved around here. Yep. And check 11 through positions 11 through 20 here. 92, 16, 82, 39, 32, 23. That's another one of our playoff cars. Mountain actually dropped quite a few spots to 16th. The 93 of Tosama last on the lead lap in 17th place. 71 will be 18th as when we restart here. This does mean that as they stand, the gap is going to be 9 points between the 9 points between the cut line battle here, or between 4th and 5th, I should say. So that's second above the cut line to the cut line itself. Assuming Alicantes would have gained a spot here because of the 91. Let me check where the 18 is running right now. Actually, let me look down here. The 18. No, she's still. No, she is, yeah. Because she'd be 27th. She'd gain 2 spots. 2 crucial spots here, as we see a few cars waving around. 2 crucial spots. The 13 will be 23rd, so she'll gain 1 spot from all of this. The 98 is 25th, gaining another 2 spots. So right now, Alicantes would be 2 above the cut line over the Lod. So, yeah, very changeable situation here. Little goes to 7 points above then. So the relevant cars here, Yukovic is 44 up, Nihil 32 up, Malakson 22 up. They're doing pretty well for themselves heading into Rockingham right now. Little is only 7 up, but she's last on the lead lap, so we'll have plenty of positions to gain, without much damage too. Alacontes is 2 up, basically needs to gain as many spots as possible here to give herself some breathing room between her, Dalad, and especially Tosama, who's only 5 points back after getting her lap lead point. Yarsharaj is 6 back, Davison 7 back, and Waterton 12 back right now. So given so that cut line battle is going to be very interesting.
Yeah,
as
it
the
is
race
for
goes
sure.
on. The only driver who hasn't led a lap and probably won't is the 98 of Yarsharaj, who's currently sitting in 25th place, 5 laps down or so. So. Well, we'll see what happens here. Things have taken a turn for the aggressive here, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're back underway here once again. 6 and 64, everyone's actually got a pretty decent jump. The 62 didn't hold back as much as she did last time. Significant gap between 5th and 6th though. Looks like Yuri at the 17's on kind of jumping off a little slow this time.
And you can see Little in the background for those who are interested in where she's placed.
Yeah. Still single file, the 6. There's the 71 and the 93. Those two are going to be important. The 93 is probably a little bit slower, but the 71 is not. The 71 is going to try to make her way ahead as quickly as possible here.
She's trying to fly through the rest of the field back there.
I mean, she will, pretty much, because all she needs to do is basically just sit back, kind of. But she's gonna have to go pretty quickly, just because she wants to get to the draft, at least as close to the draft as possible.
Oh, I think I see her near there.
And here comes Mila Chestina in the 42, pushed by the 52 of Rachel Cole as well. 27, that is, I think, our first lap down car. The 20, yeah, that's Michi Garnston. Well, looking at the racing we're getting here, what do you think? I feel like we should set some expectations here for the second half of the race. Obviously, these drivers are going to get a little more aggressive. We saw that on our most recent restart. Obviously, it's the 27 of Garnson that's going to move to the front of the pack, try to kind of unlap herself naturally. Look at the 96 actually. 96, Rugatino, who got waved around fairly recently, running in the top 5 as well here.
Yeah, I think the expectation for the second half should be it's just going to be more of the same racing, but a little bit more aggressive. You know, we might be seeing them go try and push for 4 wide more often. I mean, it looks like they almost want to there, but they stopped.
Yeah, they're certainly trying. They're going 3 wide more often now. Which I think it's just a function. It's also a function of the restarts. Is well, we're reporting the 26 is also 1 lap down, so we actually have a race here to be the first car 1 lap down between the 27 and 26 that is in the pack. Watch the 82 of Edelstein as well. Edelstein was kind of tangentially involved in the 91 incident when she blew when the 91 blew up. She's recovered pretty well here, up to 2nd place now. I have to wonder as well, what about the race for the most laps led? That's likely going to be, I think, might very well be between two of the Atlantic cars. The 64 and 62 have led plenty of laps.
The 62 has led a lot of laps.
Yeah,
I think
they both led a lot of laps here. I think
Yeah.
the 62, if it's going to be a playoff driver, it's probably going to be the 62. But the 64 might have a chance here as well if she could get some laps led kind of in this run. As they've kind of calmed down now, looking towards the calmed down now a bit more 2 wide, which I think is going to be a good time for us to move to our FanDuel Fan Pick segment here. There's quite a few more cars to choose from this time. uh, as opposed to the Continental race. What do you think? Who do you think's gonna have a? What are you looking at here to contend for the race win today at Atlanta? There's lots of racing to go, but we're starting to see the kind of hybrid pack racing we're seeing here. Obviously, a lot of lead changes, but a lot of cars that tend to the cars that tend to run up front do tend to stay up front, like the 62, of course. But there's quite a few cars in this pack that have run up front most of the way. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the 62 is an obvious dominant car here, and yeah, there's tons of lead changes, but she's able to defend it really well, and I think she's gonna go more on that defense later into the run. I think she's an obvious pick, but I think I'm feeling a little auriful, and I want to go out on a limb and say that the 71 is gonna have a comeback, and just there's gonna be another caution, and she's gonna end up back in the front, and it would be between her and the 62.
That's a bold call, but I think if we get another caution, the 71 will be right back in the pack. Where is she running right now? Obviously on the lead lap, but in that second pack, currently in 15th place. That's kind of just in her own, kind of just in her by herself here, 5 seconds behind the rest of the pack. But yeah, I think that car still has good pace. Just needs a break coming from her way here, which might still happen given well, both incidents and mechanical failures we've had kind of peppered in between the race. We've only had one green flag cycle because of that, pit cycle because of that. Looking at our top 10 here, we can get a shot back into the front of the pack. Look at this mess here. There are so many drivers to choose from. It's kind of hard to choose. It's gonna be hard to choose between everyone. I mean, you can see lap cars here are also competitive. Look at the 98 of Eva Yarsaraj running in this pack, despite being 5 laps down. There are quite a few cars you can choose from on the lead lap here. I'm gonna be a little bold here. I'm gonna be a little bold here. I'm gonna go with neither of the Atlantic cars. I'm gonna go with the 23 of Yapi Malikson, who's kind of been, if not in that same tier as them, kind of a half a tier below in terms of pace. Right there with the rest of the pack. Right there with those 2 cars in terms of pace, has been able to lead laps. Of all the playoff drivers, I think she's been the 3rd best today behind those 2 Atlanta cars, but I think she's managed the pack. I think she's managed the draft fairly well, been able to hang on to this lead pack as we're coming up on a pair of ERR cars. They're going to be lapped here. That's going to be important as well. Traffic management is going to be another important key to this race, and we'll see how that affects our contenders here. But I like the chances for the 23 of Yapi Malikson as far as things stand right now. But there's so much racing left to go. We'll take it to the booth now as we'll wrap up our pre-race show here. I've been Rasha, and we'll see you guys once again here at the end of the race for the post-race analysis. But for now, back to the booth for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and well, that was a very eventful mid-race report. Do you have a possible mid-race pick here, FanDuel fan pick here, as we go through in our mid-race report?
Yeah, and you might be surprised, but I'm looking at the 6 car, Jana McJasmine. I think that she's been quietly very, very good. Obviously running towards the back of the pack there, but I think that she's going to show up later in this one. I just have a gut feeling I'm going to run with, especially since my previous pick was taken.
Well, I'm going to go with the 96 Angeli Rugatino. Rugatino kind of got saddled back. She just got the wave around just a couple yellows ago. Rugatino looks very fast. This car looks like it has the speed to compete for the race win. I'm going to take the 96. I think they have one more in them to show.
You know, I'm a little worried now that Halas Jukovic is going to make us all pay.
And then, what an eventful mid-race report. Hey, Tosima got her lap led, just at a pretty pricey cost.
That was just an incredible sequence of events, truly.
Now, the interesting thing to note about these two is that even though they did get caught by the leaders, they were actually running within the minimum speed pace. So, they're actually probably still going to be able to finish this race. Now, the other thing as well is that there are still multiple cars in the lead pack that are about a lap down. Sophie Chantaze scored 1 lap down right now. You have Let me see. I think Garnston was a lap down. Garnston is actually 2 laps down. Excuse me. Chandazé right now is in that position to get the free pass, regardless of pretty much anything. The 93 and 39 just do not have the pace to keep the pack. Nihale leads. Cole is second. Rugatino's third. Jukovic and Yanaga, 4th and 5th. Parkings is 6th. Edelstein now 7th. Several cars who've gotten the free pass at some point in this race are up here battling at the front, and potentially could be cars that are in contention to win this race. And I think that speaks a lot just about the quality of the field that we've got. Like, you can come back still from being laps down and still, win the race.
Yeah, I think it shows just the tenacity of these drivers, truly, to never really give in as dire as things look, especially in a race like this where we still have over 100 laps left. It's gonna go for a while. Like, this is not the time to give up and accept that your day is messed up. We've seen damaged cars get repaired and get back up to pace. I think anybody could really win this, save for a couple drivers who are out there racing tractors right now.
Nietzsche Garnston right here in the 27. Again, trying to get that lap back. She can't. She wants a lap back. I mean, she wants both of her laps back, but getting a lap back would be pretty nice for the 27, considering the day that she's had. I mean, I remember seeing her getting lapped a couple times by the leaders, got back to the front. I mean, this 27 car clearly has some kind of pace. She's not tremendously hurt, I don't think. But right now, as it stands, I believe there's about 12 cars in the lead group. The 1 car was up in that lead group for a decent bit, too. The 71's still a little far back here. But, the more cars drop off this front group, the more cars drop into that second group further back. So, Little isn't out of this thing. But she's going to need a yellow. And she's going to probably need... She's going to need some good luck, really.
I mean, there's no winning a race like this without a little good luck.
That's true. That's just kind of the name of the game of super speedway racing. You gotta have at least some luck.
I hate the position the 62 is in. That is terrifying.
I thought they were going to be 4 wide. And I think you probably saw that too, but it looked like, I think it was the 52 of Rachel Cole was trying to push them 4, and that worried me a lot, but...
Glad they got out of that.
They did manage to get it back together. You got Sky and Jetta here in the 16. That's another car who's recovered from being off the lead lap. You have Mila Tristina in the 42, who's still managed to run in the top 10 in this race. I mean, this is Tristina's best run in that 42 car. I think this is only her 3rd start in that car. She's running pretty well. The 13, they're catching the 13 of Waterton.
I mean, this is kind of a dream scenario for Atlantic Racing coming into this. Both of their playoff drivers are still running very, very well. A lot of playoff drivers have fallen off.
Yeah, but there's still a few playoff drivers in the front pack. I mean, Malikson is still here as well, so... Man, I think I overestimated. I was thinking like 30 laps ago as to how many playoff drivers were in. There's only 3 of them in the front group now. I mean, Little's kind of far back. Alacantes is off pace. I mean, Tosima, Ajarsaraj... Tosima and Waterton are still running, but well off pace. Ajarsaraj is in the lead group, but... many laps down at the moment. The 98's 5 laps down right now. So, Ajarsaraj is just trying to kind of salvage whatever she can. And Jetta held the lead last time by. It's been taken away by the 17 of Pace Langiria. Janet Parkings is in 2nd behind her. Then it's Talis Jukovic. again, I will be very curious as to who is going to get that most laps led point, just because, well, points, because it's 2 points for most laps led. Because those points are going to be very, very, very crucial. You know, where they ran at the last caution with Jukovic 44 points up, she was about 2 points away from locking herself in on points. That's how good the 62 has run this round, especially after she barely squeaked her way through in round 2. Jukovic back to the front. Malikson has followed her to second.
This is the 2 drivers who came into this race leading the points.
And it looks like these 2 might continue to do that just because they've had such good runs. I mean, Yappy Malikson, this has been a season that she wants to finish off, but even if she can't make this a championship winning season, I still think this is a massive success of a season for Yappy Malikson. I mean, for really anybody who's even at this point, it's a success of a season. If you're in the playoffs at this point, in the third round, with just 10 drivers left, it's a success. Even if you're Abby Little, or even Yania Waterton, who's kind of tapered off in this round as well, this is still a successful season. You got the win, you got very deep into the playoffs as a pretty underfunded team. That's such a great mark of confidence.
It definitely is. Although I don't know, given Yappy's attitude, if she would really feel satisfied. But it definitely is, and it's got to feel good for like the people in the organization for a lot of these teams, and for the teams themselves. You know, to have made it this far and to have been able to compete at such a high level for so long, and coming to the end of this, obviously you're focused on execution, and your goal is always to win the championship. But you know, should it not work out, you do have a lot to fall back on confidence wise going into next year.
That's
Speaking
2
of-
lap down cars leading this group right now. Actually, both lines are being led by lap cars. Well, I say that Shantaze was leading the outside line, but she's actually dropped to the bottom.
What is the 98 doing up here?
I don't know. That car looked like it was off pace. She got lapped a bunch at one point in this race, and now all of a sudden that 98 car just looks like she has speed again. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, when that pack reached the 2 ERR cars, it just kind of imploded. But like, I'm genuinely surprised to see some of the drivers who have the pace to run up here. And how about Angela Rugatino? I mean, your pick.
I mean, the 96, I didn't even realize that she was on the lead lap. She got on the lead lap because the 91 blew, when the 91 blew up, the 82 had to slow down, and the 96 just barely beat the 82 back to the start-finish line. So the 96 got the free pass. And that's how she got back on the lead lap, and now she's, you know, potentially battling for the win of this race.
It's quite the comeback. I mean, this weekend has just been one big story of tenacity, truly.
Yeah.
Nihil back to the lead, and Jeddah falls back.
With how Yoko won the Continental race, I mean, you can pretty much have anything happen to you in one of these races and still manage to win it. So
it is kind of Yoko's.
the 52 is
to
stalled
win
on the
races in
apron.
ridiculous ways.
52 was stalled on the apron there. I don't believe we have a yellow flag. I believe we're still green.
That's Rachel Cole. We were talking her up earlier. 3 wide for the lead there. That is Yannicka.
And we do not have a yellow, and I'm sure that Abby Little, the 71 crew, was clamoring for one. Because that is pretty much what they need right now, and they didn't get it. They did not get what they wanted. This group, right now, Little scored in 12th. This group about 10 seconds back of the leaders.
Still good positioning for Little, ultimately, with how many drivers have fallen out.
Yep.
It's definitely not over for her, but the hopes of a win are always on the table, you know.
Well, I wouldn't count anything out. I mean, we've still got a good portion of this race to go. I mean, we're under 100 laps to go. We're at about about 94, I think, 93 coming by this time.
I'd say that's good math. Abby Malik's into the lead.
Malixon out front. Rugatino sitting second. Yukovic third. That outside lane getting a bit of a boost. Meanwhile, you got two lappers here, the 98 and the 26, who are just trying to stay in the pack.
Exactly what the 26 and 62 would have seen. Well,
hey, as well, keep in mind here, Shandaze also wants a caution, because she's the one car that's scored one lap down right now. If there's a caution, the 26 is back in the lead lap.
Be interesting to see if anything happens. Did we ever hear what happened with the 52?
I will be checking that.
To the lead, getting past Malixon on the outside. Rugatino still hugging the outside alongside, but the two Atlantic Racing cars, Nihil and Yukovic, have posted up on the inside lane, now compete with the lead between the two of them.
Here, 3 wide. Not all of those cars are 3 wide for the lead, but that is 2 teammates for the lead that are 2 wide at the very least. And then Anjetta's pushing the 27 here. And Ellie, you got any updates on the 52 car?
Yeah, so basically what I've gotten from the team is they're not on a 100 on what the issue is, but it seems to be some sort of oil leak that ended up causing her to blow. There could be some kind of wire that's cut, some kind of hose, no idea, but they're trying to figure it out.
Well, they'll have to figure it out going to next week, because they're done for the day.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I wonder if maybe after our last incident, if maybe there was a piece of debris or something the 52 caught, might have damaged a component.
Yeah.
Here comes the 16 of Sky and Jetta, getting a push from Yukovic to the front.
And Jetta's kind of been at the front for a decent bit here. I mean, I think it's been like a couple laps, but that's a decent bit considering, you know, how they've run at this track.
Yeah, we're seeing like within this like top 10 cars or so, it's a little bit of zippering as they go. So everybody's getting their turn at the front. Everybody's, you know, equally wasting their fuel.
And Jetta still out front. Yukovic, Parkings, Malixon, Nihil, Rugatino, Yanaga, and Yiria. These 8 cars are in this lead group at the moment, with a shot at the victory. Although
looked like the 30 or the 23 had tapped the apron there.
Might have.
Held it together. It doesn't matter though. She's still fighting for the lead.
Then this group, 9th, 10th, and 11th at the moment, is Chistina, Edelstein, and McJasmina. These 3 cars right now are the they've lost the lead draft, but they're kind of starting to fall back towards that second group. That could be what helps Abby Little. That could be what helps Little, Rariston, Yatika, Wandayo, and Harina. That group there could be exactly what they need. .64, I mean, this is something as well. You know, I've mentioned this a lot, but the inside lane just loses grip. once the tires wear out, and we're starting to see that happen yet again. I mean, we're about 50, 60 laps into this run, and that's what we're starting to see. So,
Well, if we don't see a caution, we should see at least one more round of green flag pit stops that could shake things up here towards the end.
there's at least one more green flag cycle. I'm not sure when it will be. When did they last pit? Most of these cars last pit around lap 185, so
It could be really soon then.
that should be around 250. That should be about in about 5 laps or so. That would actually, if they run, interestingly, if they're running 250, if they run to 250, they run about 65 laps again. That would put another pit stop with about 10 to go. So we
if
could
this
have
runs green, we potentially have a pretty wild strategy finish.
Yeah, they'd have to be strategy, because I don't think anybody could save that much fuel. But again, I'm not 100% on this, so they're catching the 93 and 39 here again.
Nihil to the inside, Malikson gonna get caught.
Alexson got caught out, I think, by the 27 going to the bottom. I think that's what did it for her.
Gonna put Garnston and Parkings in the driver's seat behind Nihil. And this is Nihil's dream right now. And that pack might genuinely be messed up.
It might be okay, honestly. Jukovic is going to get hurt here. But I think they'll form back up. I think it's going to be okay. If Jukovic can lead this group down to the inside, I think they'll be fine. And I believe that's exactly what is going to happen here. 62, 16, and 26.
Might help out with is pitting, because everybody's more spread out here up
Yeah.
front.
It is very likely going to help out with that. Also interesting here to note as well is that they're about to catch, the second group is about to catch this little drop off from the lead pack, so that could be something interesting to watch as well. Now that group is still going to be fairly broken up. They're not going to be able to gain the time they've lost on the lead from that, but what they will be able to do is they might gain a little bit of speed, because this second group here has actually been they haven't been closing on the lead, but they've been able to keep time. So adding a few more cars to that group could help it. Could help out a lot.
Yeah, I really have to give props to some of these drivers, like the Chantisse and Jarsarash, who are keeping pace with the leaders.
Yeah, even while laps down, they're still doing their best to hold on to positions. Now, the interesting thing is that because we've lost the 52, that is actually going to move a fair few cars up some positions. So it's not tremendously the end of the world for a lot of these cars.
We see that 9th through 11th group is finally been caught by that slower pack.
Yeah.
That further. We may see Abby Little return to the top 10 on paper.
Yeah. I mean, because there's about 8 cars in the lead lap in this front draft. There's more cars in this draft. I think there's 3 extra cars in this draft that are a lap down or more.
Alex into the inside on Rigatina. Couldn't get it done. Gonna slide back up into the line with everybody else.
I think she might be pitting. Yep.
So, yeah,
71
Alex
came down
in.
pit road here. Those cars in that second group, I think, chose to come down just a little bit early, try and get a little bit of an advantage. So the
The only
23, one of the
concern
first takers. Oh, caution. Caution is out. We have a car around coming
That's
into
Cindy
pit
Rariston.
road. That is Rariston.
That's really unfortunate for some of the drivers who just pit there.
Yeah, what is the timing on this? Because technically the 71 is still racing back to the line. I'm not sure who is the first car off the lead lap. It is the 17 of Uria, actually. So the 32, I think, got spun. Or something. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Rariston's still on track.
I can't tell who the first car off the lead lap is, actually.
Yukovic.
I believe
Video,
it's
let's
showing
see
right now that
maybe.
it's the 23. But the
Yeah.
23 is going to be, the 23 is going to obviously take the wave around because they just came down pit road. They can go this long. They went about 5 laps longer than I expected them to. They may be able to make it to the end from here, but I'm not 100% on that. So
Be interesting to see who all pits, or if there's any divergent strategy.
probably will be this decent bit of diverging strategies here. So I believe that's our 6th caution today. '62 and '72 have not come in yet here.
It's interesting.
'23 will receive the wave around. There are a lot of cars in between the leaders. Well, let's try and figure out what happened as somebody is blowing up in front of these cars. Hold on. That is the 16 of Angetta.
That is unfortunate. And she was running so well today, too.
Yep, she was, and looks like it's going to be another day that just goes by the wayside because of bad reliability.
So Rariston.
Now, Rariston clearly was one of the cars that was involved. I think it had to do with when they came down pit road. She's coming down pit road. Oh, the 6 of McJasmina gets into her and she spins up the track. That was on the apron that the 6 got into her, and that was just unnecessary.
Good to call the caution. That could have been really bad.
Yeah, she was stuck on the racetrack. 62 and 72 are in now.
16 have a tire go down as well.
Yes. I mean, it's not like it matters. I think the 62 and 72 didn't come in because either they didn't come in because they're trying to make it on that one stop without stopping to the end, or okay. We're going to give them an extra lap of yellow, so I can just wave everybody here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AWSCO Wave Everybody Around series.
There we go. Those cars get the wave round, so...
Nihil in the lead. Were there any cars who did not pit?
I don't think so. And then everybody else is also going to get waved around as well here. So that's the 27 will get a lap.
I mean, good for AWSCO, you know? Chris Paul hits 3 to cut the lead to 58.
I mean, that's a huge lap to gain back for the for Ajarsa. She goes from 5 to 4 laps down.
That does secure her position ahead of Alicante's.
It
You forget that
does. Yes, it does. 72 was the last car on the lead lap prior to the yellow, prior to the wave rounds. So that that means that the 72 was the last car in terms of the wave around positions. If there was any lap cars behind the 72, they would not have gotten waved. But technically every lap down car just got waved around. So every lap car just gained a lap back basically for free. 71 is 13th, 98 is 24th, 18 is 25th.
You're all bunched up, and this is our shootout to the end, I think.
I believe it will be. I think they should be good to the end on fuel.
It's gonna be tight for sure, but yeah. Any update on Waterton as well?
On Waterton, 13 is, let me check, 23rd.
So attrition has definitely helped out a lot of the drivers who've been able to stay in the race.
Yeah. I'm curious, what are these top 5 are these top 5 okay in terms of the mileage? Did they get a stop in, or are they gonna come down pit road as we go to green? Or as we come back to the line? Because that's a
I
bit...
hope not, that sounds very dangerous.
Because I don't know where they are. They might be okay on fuel, but they might not be. I don't know. Well, they look like they're staying for now.
Very quickly makes a move to the inside to get around Yatica.
Got around Jukovic, too. Here comes Rigatino for the race lead. Okay, yeah, this group is going to form up, yep.
This is the biggest pack we've seen in quite a while.
Yeah, this group's going to form up. The 71's going to form up into this group, too, as well, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy about.
You can hear the Abbey Little fans.
Oh, that was close between the 82 and 96.
Yeah, drivers need to be very, very disciplined in how they go about this.
All right. Updates on how everything looks at the yellow. Jukovic, plus 41. Nihil, who was leading the race at the time of caution, plus 33. Malikson, plus 30. Little, plus 10. Alicantes, plus 4. Then it goes Delad, minus 4. Tosima, minus 7. Ajarsaraj, minus 7. Davison, minus 11. And Waterton, minus 14. So again, pretty close between a lot of the cars at the cut line. Only 14 points separate 5th from 10th right now.
That's a pretty big. That's a pretty tight distribution as we head into Rockingham if it stays that way. Although the way things are looking, I'm not sure we're gonna run this green. Anything can happen.
Well, they're getting aggressive. I mean, I think they know it's crunch time.
Yeah, ooh, McJasmina moving up to the middle, to the top. Please behave, everybody.
Yukovic well out front. Got a pretty big lead right now. I think those cars may have actually managed to, may have actually pitted and stayed on the lead lap. Which...
Pretty little 9th to 3rd in one lap, and now up to 2nd. Malikson.
She was looking, but I don't know if she has the room to do it.
I am praying that she doesn't, but it looks like the 17 is going to clear Harina.
17 is clear anyway, so... Yeah, not much going on here. Well, there is a lot going on, but not much, not a particularly dangerous situation right there.
The outside line is looking really, really strong right now.
Yep. Yuri is holding on the outside, and Yukovic has pretty much just hung on to the lead here for a good bit. But Malikson finally gets clear of Yuria, and now we'll see if the 23 has anything to get to the 62.
I mean, these are the two best drivers in the playoffs so far. Or at least right now. And they're the two best drivers here in Atlanta.
Well, two best right now, but that two best could be anybody in about 60 laps or so. I mean, it is wide open as to who can get the win here today.
I mean, even some like Mika Harina, by the way, up into the top 5. I've not talked about her a whole lot since way earlier in the race.
39 car is off the pace pretty badly. She may get told to park it soon. In fact, she's getting told to park it now. So that will be a position gained for quite a few for a few playoff drivers that are down in the running order. They're laps down trying to survive. They'll gain a position there. Talverson will end up dropping to 26th. So that will move Alicantes, Ajar Siraj, Waterton, and Tosima all up positions.
Here comes Malikson.
Malikson looking. She's not making the move quite yet.
Trying to get a little bit of air off the spoiler to make the move, then jumps to the inside. Now, Yukovic is really, really fast. I don't know if Malikson has the pace to match her one-on-one.
Yeah, she's got the better line. Imagine we get a finish to the race like that.
That was 1/100th of a second.
Imagine we get a finish to the end of the race like that.
Here comes Little.
Abby Little's got a big run. She's getting the push from Shantaze. 71 is back and has a chance.
Yeah, Abby Little to the lead after all of that.
It is not out of the question whatsoever for Little. As she, oh man,
leads the lap on lap
71.
71.
Man, she almost cleared herself there on the 23. I was worried that that was going to be another one like those incidents we've been seeing.
You know,
Thankfully, it wasn't.
Every lap Abby Little leads, she gets paid by Monster Energy, so...
She's probably got a big collection if that's the case.
It's not a whole lot, but it's a nice incentive.
Fair enough.
By the way, the 42 car.
42, Chistina getting out front. But here comes Rigatino. There's a Mick Jasmina giving a push to the 96. You got Edelstein up here. I mean, you got 14 lead lap cars in this pack. And that's 14 of the 15 that are on the lead lap. McJasmina now going to the inside. Here comes the 32 of Sinlia Rariston. I mean, she's looked like she's been off pace for a while. She got spun out to bring out our last caution. She's battling for the lead.
Unbelievable. Atlantic Racing is just on a different level with these super speedway packages, I swear.
Yeah, no kidding. They have been, the Hondas have just been very fast. It's been the Hondas and the Toyotas that have looked like very fast cars on these plate tracks all season, and they're continuing that dominance.
And yeah, and here comes Yukovic
I feel
versus
like
the 17 at the line.
I feel like you have to consider. I feel like it has to be the 62 who's led the most laps. It was the 17 at the line.
To have been by like an inch. Here comes Yadika, who has been competitive throughout the race, kind of fell off for a bit, and now is back in contention, although I'm not sure yet.
Interestingly, Nietzsche Garnston is actually one lap down right now. So Garnston in the 27, if there's another yellow, she could get back on the lead lap.
You know, I just want to point out that that's 3 laps in a row that we've had the leader lead the lap by thousandths of a second.
Yeah, it's getting really close here. They're getting a lot more antsy, I think. Here comes Mika Harina in the 34 car. Parkings is up here. Little is here. It's 3 Hondas at the front of the pack right now. And then behind them is a Toyota of Parkings.
Although the Ford duo of Rugatino and Nancy might be one to look at. Especially
Yeah, those
with
two Fords.
Fancy
And you've got Vancy has her
finally-
teammate in this group too, so
The one car was looking really slow earlier today, but I think much like his Yarsaraj too, like the repairs have added up enough.
kind of checking in on our back markers here a little bit, but I was just checking to see how their speeds look right now.
Yeah, Rugatino back to the front.
They've reached that mark of, let's see, I think it's 45 laps to go. $280 laps complete from Atlanta, and still, I mean, there's a big collection of cars. Anybody could win this, I think.
Yeah, it's really hard to pick out a favorite, and then the aggression is going to start picking up the closer to the end we get. But I mean, I think I mentioned earlier that if aggression is the strategy, Janet Parkings is probably the driver you want behind the wheel the most.
With how she's run this race, absolutely.
I said, look who's back. Yappy Malikson on the inside, just behind Yanaga.
23's managed to drag her way back up here as well. She goes to the inside, looks to the inside on Yanaga.
Oh, down to the apron
Ooh,
there.
close to contact between Yanaga and Rugatino.
You see them, they're getting a bit more aggressive now. You see them bite the paint a little bit.
Yeah. I think they're just kind of starting to use a little more room. They're trying to do whatever they can. You're not going to let up. You're not going to let anybody have anything for free anymore.
Yeah, absolutely not.
You know
Not
it's
when
time
so
to go.
much is on the line. Here comes Rariston to the inside.
They're approaching some lap cars. Lap cars, again, aren't slow enough.
Good run on the outside, Rugatino. Give big
Great push
now.
by the 96 to the 23.
You can feel the tension in the air. Things are definitely picking up.
If they're going to go to the end on fuel, they have to make it 70 laps. Now, the other thing I have is, if we get a caution, that probably won't matter. And I think they did even more than that in the Continental race yesterday, because I think they made it to the end. They didn't pit on the last caution, which was lap 140, which means that the last stops were about lap 125. They did go pretty much that exact distance.
Well, they're probably saving a little bit of fuel here because they are being kneecapped by speed by the lap cars.
Yes, the lap cars are going to hold them up, and that actually could be part of the plan here.
I don't know if they're thinking that far ahead, but if they are, it's very clever. Verstappen going to lead this lap.
So we're fuel saving now, I assume.
That's what it looks like, at least until one of them gets impatient.
Oh, like Rarison is.
4 wide. I don't know if that's advisable. But I do
Waterton
not like
better
this.
back off. Somebody better back off here. I think the
Somebody
10's
has
going to
to
back
be.
off here.
Stoneman's already been in a wreck today, I think, yeah.
Good move by Stoneman to back off. It didn't look like the 13 or 98 wanted to, so the 10 did it. Good job by her.
Might have been Red Racing on the radio, given the 23 is still trapped behind that pack.
Yeah, the 23 was behind the 13 while all that was going on. In fact, the 23 is still behind the 13.
Just in a wrong place, wrong time for Yabby Malikson. There's still time to make things up, but that was a scary, sketchy situation.
They got away with one. I'm not 100% certain we're going to get away with much more.
I mean, it's catching Edelstein at the front, though.
Edelstein at the front, but here comes Jukovic. But Garnston's going to give the 82 a push on the outside. Well, I guess not. 62 just had a big run by herself.
Honda teammates helping each other out there, I think. Jukovic gets a massive run.
Just don't want to risk 4 at this point. Abby Little kind of got shuffled behind this group. She's trying to make it up. I think that's the other thing as well, is that one thing we're seeing. You can get a lot further off the pack and not lose the draft than you can at other plate tracks, just because of this package. That 71 will probably catch back up to the pack here.
Yeah, I think partially it's because the way that the corners run, it's a lot easier to keep the draft in the corners, but also just like the handling, there's a lot more ways to make up speed in the short run.
I think the other thing as well is that the corner speed just isn't as draft dependent here as it is at, say, like Talladega.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you can pretty comfortably make the corner at full throttle any speed at say, Talladega or Daytona. Here, I'm not really sure that's the case. There's kind of a limit. There's only so much you can do with how tight the corners are.
The car is definitely squirrely if you're too aggressive. And yeah, Malikson recovered incredibly quickly. Back up to 5th already.
Yeah, she's fine. Jukovic
Gonna rise to the top here.
Jukovic out front still. But man, I have to say, I don't think I want to be the leader if I'm coming to about 10 to go, or even 1 to go, really. Like, you can get far out like Jukovic has, but that's not going to prevent a strong car from getting a run on you and diving it.
How about Malikson? She is carving her way through these.
Yeah, that 23 clearly has a lot of speed left. And she's making the bottom work.
Understands what's at stake here for her.
Yeah. I mean, I know it would be a big deal if Yapi Malikson is able to get that first win, because again, yet to win this season. Yet to win an AWSCO race at all. So, yeah, for Yappy, if she gets that first win, it is going to be... They are going to be excited. Fighting on the outside is Halis Jukovic. Jukovic still trying to keep the lead right now. Rugatino pushing on the outside. Harina's on the inside. The Atlantic racing cars are mismatched at the moment. The leader is the one on the outside, and the two other ones that are behind the front row are on the inside. Harina and Nihil are pushing Malikson right now.
And I think Harina's going to try to get underneath the 23. And gonna almost get there.
I don't think she could get there quite.
Jukovic has been doing a lot of running the wall this race. Look at all the Atlantic racing cars. See Harina get up there with Jukovic. Now Nihil's gonna try to fight for a spot. Rugatino will come down to the inside. Look at the run that those two got.
Yeah, I was about to say, look at the run that Yanaga and Chestina got with each other. Little is starting to taper off again. I don't know if I don't think she's close enough anymore. But at best for her, at worst, I think she finishes 14th, which is still not all that bad, all things considered, as they go 3 wide for the lead as they catch these lappers. Is Javida in the 2, and there's a red racing car here as well.
Is that going to work for Harina? I don't know if she could get there.
There's a Honda teammate to the Atlantic cars, but there's a red racing teammate to Malikson.
Yeah, Nihil's going to slot in between Wandayo and Malikson, but Harina's
Team orders may cancel each other out here. If there even are any. Alicante's going to hold up the high side.
More for the benefit of, I guess, a Ford teammate in Rugatino there.
"25 laps to go."
Yeah, things are definitely getting interesting. Here comes Yanaga.
I'm rather surprised that we have not seen anything happen, because they have gotten really aggressive.
We've come close, but, you know, these are some of the best stock car drivers in the world, I think.
Yep.
They're doing a really, really good job at showing that today. And even some of the young blood, Katrin Edelstein, leading this race this late in. I mean, we know she's good at these kind of tracks, but how about that 82 team?
Yeah, this is a great run for them. I mean, Uberrun Enterprise has not won a race this year. That team seems like it's kind of struggled, even with Lauri Schliesenbach having her good runs. Edelstein looking like she very well could be on the cusp of winning here at Atlanta.
The incredible achievement to win on the cup level, especially before you get your first full-time season.
Yeah. I mean, she's already going into a full-time cup season next year, so...
Finley Rareston to the lead, Angeli Rugatino right behind, and you see, all 3 wide here with Waterton on the outside. That's a lap car.
Interestingly, there's Chantaze, but Chantaze also has her teammate behind her, Yatika, who is on the lead lap, with Chantaze in front, who is not. Chantaze could very well try to drag Yatika up to the front here.
You know, it makes me wonder if Abby Little maybe stayed out of the pack intentionally with how they are racing around one another.
It's very possible. She's kind of dropped, too far back, I think, to be able to catch back up without another caution.
Yatika to the lead.
Oh, the 82's blowing up in front of the pack. And that's gonna cause a big split.
Yeah, that is massive. Poor Kat. We were just talking about Katrin Mudelstein in the race that she was having. That's so unfortunate. Well, that gives Nihil the go up to take point here.
And that's dropped a lot of cars off the lead pack, actually, interestingly enough. In fact, that dropped the 23 off of it.
23 might get back, but
I don't know.
It's a little late in the race.
Still, we got there's two playoff cars still up here, and it's Nihil and Yukovic. Nihil leads. She's got a lap car behind, another lap car behind, and then you get to Yuria. There's only about how many lead lap cars are in this lead group now? I think it's just 8. I don't know. The 23 might be able to catch back up. If she can get to the 1, she'll probably be fine.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, getting the draft off of Fancy, who's not...
I think she will, actually.
This is not over.
Garnston dives down to the inside of Nihil. Again, Garnston lap down, trying to get that lap back. Yuria is on the lead lap and is taking the lead. And Payson Yuria almost won at Talladega. She finished second in that race.
And here comes Halis Jukovic.
Okay, yeah, the 23's back. She's back in this.
I figured that car is too strong to really be held back without catastrophe. The 23 is just so rapid right now.
Jukovic pressuring on Yuria for the lead. They shuffle Garnston out of line. These cars back here, I think those cars are, I don't think those cars are out of it. They're not gaining any lap time right now.
Halis Jukovic to the lead, trying to secure her spot in the championship round.
I mean, with how she looks on points, it's pretty close that she could very well lock in on points anyways, but even if she doesn't, even with the win, I mean, you just want to be sure. Ellie, you got information on on Edelstein?
Yeah, it looks like the clutch went on that car. That's what I'm hearing so far, which is very unfortunate because you two were just talking about what a decent race she was having.
Yeah, you never know what can happen in these races, and it's always gut-wrenching to have something like out of your control happen so late in the race, but you know, it's just remembering to stay humble as a race car driver and knowing how good Edelstein is at like already like this quickly into her career. I'm sure she'll have plenty of opportunities to come back and compete for race wins in the future. Just gotta keep the head up, and same for Uberman Enterprises too, who just like, it can feel like you're slamming your head against a wall, you know, but persistence will pay off eventually, especially in racing. Angeli Rugatino.
Rugatino to the front. There's the two Atlantic cars. We got Malikson still in this pack. As we cross the line this time, we've reached our Windows 11 to go. Rugatino, Nihil, Yuria, Jukovic, Malikson, Rariston, Chistina, Yataga, all in the lead pack right now. On the lead lap. Here comes Nihil with a run. Pushed by Pacelin Yuria. Those are 4 lead lap cars. It's not over. Not anywhere near over.
No, this is extremely like tight between all of these drivers.
This race belongs to nobody except for whoever is going to cross the line first at the end. There's no telling what's going to happen here. Nihil got the lead that time, but here comes Pace Linearia.
Inside line really carried a ton of momentum there. Nihil kind of has to move up with the momentum.
Oh, Nihil lost so much ground.
Rugatino moves up probably to try and start to mount a run with Jukovic, but I don't know if it's going to work. The pack is really small now.
Jukovic, I think Rugatino's trying to stop the 64's stall. 32 and 21 are coming to pit road. And I think the 23 is as well. Yeah, these cars are short on fuel. 71 was in.
That spells some interesting scenarios here to the end. There's no telling who's going to end up at the front of all this.
Well, that is going to change a lot here as well.
There's so little time left in this race. I'm like worried. We might not even see like a pack form back up.
It's going to come down to pit stops. 23 got out ahead of the 32. There's the 71. 64 is still out here. Who all is going to try to chance it on fuel? 23 merges out. Right behind everybody. 64 is still out here for now. 96 is in. 46 is in. 46 is actually going to try and jump the 96 coming to pit road.
Very aggressive entry to pit road. Wow.
Splashes of fuel for pretty much everybody here.
Yeah, it's not like there's like 2 laps to go that you can stretch it. Like, I think everybody's going to have to.
You're going to have to come in. I mean, the 64 didn't pit on the last caution. I don't know how she's going to be able to keep the fuel. You see, Yuri is in. Both of the Atlantic racing cars still trying to stay out there as long as they can.
Maybe just praying for a caution at this point. I don't think that's the right gamble.
Jukovic back out front. 5 laps to go. I don't see any way they can save 5 laps. I don't see any way they have saved 5 laps. Nihil's going to come in. So is Chistina. Jukovic is the last one. Jukovic did pit the latest of everybody.
So it's Jukovic and Parkings then who technically have the most fuel. I don't know if they've saved enough.
Parkings is in, so...
Okay. Jukovic might have...
I very much doubt that they've saved enough, but Jukovic is trying still. She's still out there right now.
I think Yanniga is the like first car provisionally.
Right now, yeah. We'll see how the 64 exits. 64, 42. 64 did jump the 42. Actually, I think the 64 was ahead of the 42 regardless.
Is Jukovic gonna pit?
I think... Yep, she's in. She's coming in here. This time, 62 is in. As she came to 2 to go.
Stretch it too far. Could have potentially had a shot if she had pitted earlier.
64 did get out ahead of these cars. They may form something up here in this last little bit. It depends where the 62 exits.
Yeah, we're going to cross the line here. 2 to go. Malikson in second behind Nihil. Yanniga right behind the 23. They're single file.
Nihil's still leading the race. Malikson's got a bit of a run.
Oh, and she blocks, keeping Yanniga underneath. And that's going to mount a run underneath Nihil.
62's exiting. The 23 is moving up to the front. 62 is not going to jump out in front of these cars. 23 is going to be the leader. We're going to come to the white.
Oh my god, Yanniga, there's the 42, Malikson, Nihil, this is going to be tight.
46 to the inside. Here comes the 42 of Chistina. White flag. 1 lap to go. There's still a race.
Yanniga leads to the white flag. And these two working together here. Oh, what an
Is
upset.
Justina gonna keep pushing the 46er? Is she gonna go for the win? I think she's gonna go for the win. She goes to the inside. Yanaga's trying to keep her down.
Yanniga got a really good run through that corner.
Really good run. And it's gonna be the 46 Yenfi Yanaga with her second win on a play track this year. Yanaga wins at Atlanta.
Wow, what a finish. What a crazy situation.
Mila Chistina, how about the run for the 42? Second place. She ran this race yesterday. She got involved in a couple incidents, and I think she still finished solidly. Second place. This is the first time she's managed to finish one of these races in the Cup Series, and I thought she might have. I thought she had a chance to win.
Gabby Malikson also just like so close to getting that first win.
So close, but just couldn't get it done. Same for Nihil, who ends up 4th. Jukovic is going to end up 6th. Jukovic is probably still in very good shape as to how we're getting to the cutoff, but it's not that lock-in that she really, really wants. Abby Little ends up 13th. Well, Rena, what do you think? What did you think of that race and the finish and everything? What do you think of how this is playing out?
I think it's given the like how long this race is, and Atlanta always is just a bit longer than your average intermediate, right? And how much attrition takes a toll over time, and generally I want to say like what a great job by these drivers keeping it together. Like how many times we saw like it looked as if though the pack was gonna fall apart, whether somebody had a mechanical failure or we had a 4 wide incident or whatever, and they kept it going and didn't let the race devolve like maybe we saw early in the Continental race yesterday. To see all of that come down to a clean and strategic finish that really like and some teamwork to boot at the end, Yenfi Yanaga getting yet another plate win. I mean, what more could you ask for from this weekend for AWSCO?
Yeah, just a outstanding day. Such a fun race here today as Yenfi Yanaga takes the victory here from Atlanta. We will take you down to our FanDuel Fan Studio for the post-race show right now as they are getting all set. They will have updates on the playoffs, on the playoff picture, and how Rockingham's going to look next week for both series. We're going to have a lot to talk about. All right, Rasha, Ellie, take it away.
Well, what a race that was. Lots of bit of a drama at the end there with the pit cycle. Everyone having to come in to take fuel, and it kind of changed things up a little. It changed things up a little bit, but also didn't. Well, we ended up getting a we had cars kind of shuffling about, but in the end, it was still the same kind of few cars that were running up front in the pack before the cycle that came out afterwards, but only with a few laps. But with only a few laps, left to kind of make runs happen. It kind of came down to whoever managed to be kind of the second, to kind of come off second best kind of at the end of the pit cycle, and that was exactly the position the Southwest cars were in, pushing each other to the front of the pack. A 1-2 finish with Yenfi Yanaga leading the way. With Malakson and Nihil, your two top playoff cars, alongside Paisla Niria rounding out your top 5. Jukovic 6th, Rugatino 7th, Rariston 8th, 9th, Parking's 9th, and Mikhail Yatika in 10th place. Lots to talk about for the playoff race. Hollis Jukovic is just about as good as you can be on points, I think, without being outright clinched in terms of on points. Prior to the the awarding of the most laps led point, she will be 40 points, I should say, above the cut line. Yappy Malikson and Jocelyn Nihil, with their good runs, will be 34 and 29 points. Should be about there. Again, in good positions. Abby Little will be in a decent spot, 13 ahead. Then Alacantes and Yarsaraj will be your cut line battle. I think about 7 points out. Bria DeLaud, despite a 35th place finish, will come out fairly decently on points, not far behind, only 8 behind approximately. Then it'll be Tosama, Davison, and Waterton. Nobody more than 20 points out. We're not projecting anyone to be above 20 points out, so it's still going to be a very close race as we head into our next race at Rockingham. But how about the racing here? What a race that was, especially that last 50 laps or so. There were lots of aggressive driving, but everyone somehow managed to keep it clean despite a few hiccups here and there that could have caused some problems. Especially with that pit cycle and of course the 82 blowing up in the middle of the pack. So lots of things could have brought out a caution at the end, but we managed to go green all the way to the end.
Yeah, that was an amazing finish. I didn't expect that at all. I mean, I didn't even really think about Yenfi Yanagha much. I really should have, because that was great movement there. Yeah, we had a really aggressive but somehow really clean last 15 or so, 20 or so laps, and all of that driving was really fun to watch. It was very competitive. Every single car was trying to fight just to lead a lap. It was great racing. It was very fun, and I thought that was a great finish as well. And with the points being looking like they're gonna be so close, that's gonna make Rockingham just as much as fun. I expect as well.
Yeah, and it kind of worked out in the same way that Yanagha won. Well, Yanagha won kind of the same way that she won at Pensacola, with that kind of last lap, with that last second pit cycle. Only that time, of course, she didn't have to come in. She managed to win by about 10 seconds or so, or something like that. This time she managed to take advantage of the pit cycle, came out right behind the leaders with 2 laps to go, and that's the kind of place you want to be in. Come the end of any super speedway race, and that's exactly what she managed to take advantage of that. Had her teammate pushing her past the 64 and 23, both of whom I think would have absolutely loved to win this race. I mean, especially Jocelyn Nihil, who still hasn't won a race, but will get yet another top 5 to her roster. 7 top 5s heading into this race. It'll be an 8th top 5 here at Atlanta. Alice Jukovic, with her 6th place finish, will get a 17th top 10 as well. Very surprising, of course, to hear that Jukovic was the one not tendered an extension at Atlantic, but I figure she'll be probably the top free agent on the market here for a lot of teams that are looking to get to to fill one of their driver spots. Of course, a lot of teams looking around at Continental drivers as well, but a few Cup drivers are going to be moving teams as well come the end of this season. Looking at the rest of the playoff picture here, obviously we talked about the Malikson and Nihil. Abby Little still staying strong here. Been kind of the story of the playoffs alongside the 13th Yannia Waterton. We'll see if one of those two underdogs are going to be able to get to the final 5. Alacantes, Yarsaraj, Dalad, Tosama, Davison, and Waterton in that order. The battle for that last spot is going to be very vicious. I feel like everyone there still has a chance of making it. Alacantes and the Yarsaraj have been fairly strong all season. Dalad has been consistent, especially in strategy-oriented races, mostly on the road courses, but I think that team is particularly strong at managing those kind of cycles. And Rockingham everything relies on the pit cycle here. Looking at the race results, the most laps led point will be awarded to Yappy Malikson, giving her an extra point. Jocelyn Nihil, I should say. I misread that. Putting her 36 points above the cut line. Prior to any corrections here. So that's gonna put her just a little bit further up. Definitely looking good if your team if you're the Hondas, especially if you're the Atlantic Hondas. Your 2 cars, yeah, these 2 cars you have left in the playoffs are all but in terms of what do you call it, in terms of points. Obviously, there's still multiple things that can happen at Rockingham to kind of shake things up. We're getting the official stat line for this race here. 177 lead changes, an absolutely astronomical number.
That is a lot of lead changes.
We expected I think we expected the lead the lead change record to be challenged in this race. We saw that happen in the Continental race, despite not having many cars run at the end. 31 drivers led a lap today, including, what's that, 9 of our 10 playoff drivers remaining. So, yeah, that's gonna be really. This was definitely an exciting race, and it's great that we saw a good chunk of the pack, I think, still running competitively for most of the race.
Yeah, that made the race a lot of fun to see. A really, wide range of drivers still in the pack, still competitive, still racing on the field. Even drivers who fell out of the pack eventually got competitive again. We saw drivers who got laps down, come back, and just that kind of racing was very fun to watch. It was almost very unique too, because you don't see that very often. The amount of lead changes were very fun to watch, and I think if you want to take away anything from this race going into Rockingham, is that you kind of can't count anyone out from doing good here in the playoffs. I think every single one of those drivers in the playoffs has a great chance at doing something.
Yeah, and looking at some of these other drivers that finished well, Mila Tristina, of course, finished second, almost got the win. Probably may have had a better chance. Had the 27 of Nietzsche Garland pushing her, may have stuck with her a little bit more, but Yannicka just had an excellent run on the outside. Obviously, she's run very well in the Continental Series. Been in this 42 car for a while now. We'll see whether or not that leads to a cup ride. Perhaps in that 42 car, but she's definitely making a case for it. She's run well in a few races that she's had in the 42, but up until this race hasn't had the results to show for it. But a second place finish, an excellent run, pushing her teammate in the 46 to the win as well, should add to that as well. Lots of looking at the rest of the drivers here. Let's see, 55 of the lot will get the fastest lap, so that was fairly early on in the race, so that one extra point keeping the 55 right in the mix here as well. Paisley Yuria with another top 5. That's, I think, her second since joining her third, I should say, since joining the Ozark crew. Pushing, which is quite impressive considering she had one top 5 all the way back in the Daytona 500 in during her time at the 82 car. So what good it's done. I should say the change of scenery has done really. I think has done Paisley Yuria a world of good. Definitely picking up the form that she had early on in the season in that 82 car that kind of had her potentially as an early championship contender. Doing very well at Ozark right now. Other drivers who finished well. Let's take a look here. Looking at our top 10, Michele Yatica again with another top 10. That's her 12th top 10 this season. Been fairly low-key, but also consistent set of runs for Yatica. We'll see what that means. We'll see what that means for her. She's had quite a few good runs. Of course, won the mid-season tournament. Janet Parkins with the with a 9th place finish, her first top 10 since Kansas. Other drivers, Angeli Rugatino with another top 10. That's her 12th of the season as well. Cinlia Rariston, 12th of the season as well for her. I think, and yeah, I mean, with that, I think we should take a look at kind of how kind of a bit of a I should say we should maybe take a little preview of what Rockingham is going to have to offer. Obviously, we've kind of touched upon it earlier, but it's going to be a heavy strategy race. That's going to be the main talking point. But Rockingham itself is a fairly tricky racetrack to master. Obviously, the high banked mile oval with the fairly irregular shape means that this racetrack is one that can be a little bit tougher if you're rather inexperienced, and even experienced drivers have trouble racing on it sometimes.
That should be an interesting race, especially with our playoff field. How competitive all of the drivers have been and how close they are in terms of points.
Yeah, obviously, with the way the racing is going to be, plus the added strategy aspect on it, given the abrasive surface at Rockingham, it means that tire wear and tire management is going to be of utmost importance for all of these drivers. And as well as the possibility of multiple wildcards, including cautions that come out in the middle of a pit cycle. It always seems to happen at least once at Rockingham every season. Can really throw a wrench into things. But as things stand, looking very good for Jukovic and Malakson. For Jukovic, Malakson, and Nihale coming into the final race at Rockingham, but there's still quite a ways to go for the playoff battle. Lots of and that's all going to be decided next week at Rockingham. And with that, I think that'll do it for our post-race analysis here. Thank you for being with us. I'm Rasha. I'm joined here by Ellie. Been great having you here on the broadcast with us, and we'll send it over to Echo now. We'll wrap up the broadcast after a very exciting race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and a super, super fun race here. 325 laps, 177 lead changes, 31 different drivers led the race. Only 9 drivers did not lead a lap today. So, lots of equality in this race today. Next week, we've got the races from the Rockingham Speedway in North Carolina for Continental and the Cup Series. We'll decide who makes it to the championship round at Homestead with a chance to win the titles in 2 weeks. On behalf of Rasha, Ellie, and Rana, I'm